A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
One.
The life of Mary Sothern, the true-to-life story of a young woman whose husband, believing himself unworthy of his wife, embarked on a career of crime to turn her against him. But she wrapped her love tighter than ever about him, and now both courageously face the prospect of his going to prison for his boyishly conceived sacrifice. Mary Sothern is presented each weekday at this time by the makers of Ipana toothpaste. When you've been moving among a group of people feeling happy and smiling because you are happy, have you ever suddenly heard whispers? Whispers that send a little chill to your heart. Whispers that you feel may be about you. That often happens to the woman who has neglected the warning tinge of pink on her toothbrush. Her gums have become flabby, her teeth dull, until people whisper,
"Her smile ruined her whole appearance."
At the first trace of pink on your toothbrush, be warned. You may be in for serious trouble. See your dentist and follow his advice. However, there's a good chance that he'll tell you that your trouble isn't serious yet, that your gums have grown weak and flabby through lack of exercise, and that our modern soft food diets are to blame. And if he's like many modern dentists, he'll probably suggest the stimulation of massage for those gums, massage with Ipana toothpaste. You see, Ipana, I-P-A-N-A, Ipana toothpaste is specially made for stimulating massage. So Ipana with massage will help harden your gums, help make them firmer, and so help you have sounder, more sparkling teeth and the charm of an alluring smile. Tonight, after you brush your teeth with Ipana, massage a little extra Ipana into your gums. You feel a tang exclusive with Ipana, and that tingly, glowing feeling, as exhilarating as a brisk walk on a fall day, tells you that you're helping to give your gums the helpful exercise that soft foods do not supply.
Her smile ruined her whole appearance.
Take the big step toward better oral health, cleaner teeth, and a lovely smile by asking your druggist for an economical tube of Ipana toothpaste today, and using Ipana with massage this very night. Reverend Blaine, we missed your sermon last Sunday on happiness. We're awfully sorry we did, for everybody who heard it said it was swell.
If they said that, they also must have heard the sermon the Sunday before on being charitable.
Well, we understand that your theory is that happiness is not a goal that one can hope to reach and hold permanently, but that it's... Well, what did you say it is?
Well, I simply said that happiness is what I like to call a spiritual vitamin. And so is sorrow, tragedy, or adversity a spiritual vitamin. Both essential foods for the soul of a person.
You mean sorrow is an essential vitamin, too?
Absolutely. If you fed on nothing but the happiness vitamin, you'd very soon become so self-content, self-centered that your life would slip into a rut and become utterly stagnant and worthless.
And the sorrow vitamin prevents this?
Well, sorrow is the vitamin that keeps us human, sympathetic, dependent on others, and on God. It softens our hearts, but hardens the muscles of our resistance to it. Gives us the urge to make life go on. Therefore we live and bear fruit.
Don't you think Mary Sothern is in danger of getting an overdose of sorrow?
Well, she does seem to be having a rather long run of adversity. But that's to prepare her and Max for the real happiness that's bound to come to that marriage eventually. Prepare them for appreciating it and for guarding against the things that might wreck it.
But you're not terribly worried about the present train.
How do you mean?
Well, suppose the grand jury indicts Max for being mixed up in the gambling racket with Cheney's syndicate. Max stands a good chance of going to prison for that and for a long time. I can't see much happiness ahead for either Mary or Max if that happens.
Out of sorrow and misunderstanding come happiness and understanding. And nothing that might happen to separate Mary and Max for a time could be more than an intermission between the finding of that happiness and the sharing of it.
A few minutes ago, Mary waved goodbye to Max as Sheriff Barstow drove away with him to Sothern to take him before the grand jury. She had to walk away through a jeering crowd of townspeople, some accusing her of being in league with Max in the gambling racket, others condemning her loyalty to Max. Mary registered no notice. Instead of going home, she went to Dr. Benson's clinic, where she has just encountered Nurse Miller in the corridor.
Oh, hello, Mrs. Sanders.
How do you do?
Dr. John is out on a call. I'm sure he'll be back in a few minutes.
Oh, that's all right, Miss Miller. I really wanted to see Phyllis, if I might.
Oh, I'm sorry. Phyllis is asleep right now.
How is she?
Her strength seems to be coming back all right, but, of course, it will be some time before she's able to sit in a wheelchair.
Oh, poor darling. She'll be sitting in a wheelchair long enough anyway, I guess. Dr. John still doesn't think there's a chance of her getting completely well.
There seems to be no hope of it.
How's the baby?
Oh, that little buster is a perfect specimen. Wouldn't you like to see him?
Oh, I'd love to if it won't disturb him.
Nothing disturbs that one. Come on in a minute.
All right.
Yes, but it's your best chance of seeing him on his good behavior. Yeah, isn't he something?
Oh, isn't he? Look, the thing put his thumb in his mouth. Well, we better get out before I wake up.
Yes, I think we better. By the way, how is Danny doing? He seems to be Phyllis' chief worry.
Well, you tell her not to worry one bit about Danny. Daddy Stratford and I are seeing to it that he has his meals regularly and he has clean socks every morning.
I think her chief worry, though, is how her affliction is going to affect, well, their future.
Has she talked about that?
No, but just the same, she talks about Danny, and I know that's already on her mind. Here, let's step into Dr. John's office. You can wait for him.
All right.
Go in.
Thanks.
Have a seat.
Thanks.
Oh, it's a shame, too, all that mess about her brother. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I didn't mean that.
That's quite all right, Miss Miller. I'm not sensitive about it. I realize that Phyllis worrying about Max helped bring on the complications responsible for her condition, but that none of us could help.
Of course not.
And I don't blame you for feeling any resentment toward my husband for the things he's done and having a bad opinion of him. Because on the face of things, he did look rather bad.
Sound out for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a burglary detail. A wave of burglaries has broken out in your city. The thieves are fast. They're clever. Your job? Get them.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first, with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, December 10th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 10:14 a.m. when we got to the Armstrong Schneider Jewelry Company, the manager's office.
Can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. Police officers, we'd like to see Mr. Armstrong.
Oh, yes. Just a minute. Police officers are here. Yes, sir, right away. Will you go right in, please?
Thank you very much.
Mr. Armstrong's office. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, but he's in a meeting.
Won't you come in?
Thank you very much. Thanks, sir. Mr. Armstrong?
Yes.
It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do? Won't you sit down?
Thank you very much.
Would you like a cigarette?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks.
I have a lighter. As you know, this firm is probably the foremost fine jewelry store on the coast.
Yes, sir. I wonder if you'd tell us about the theft.
Yes. Well, we discovered it this morning.
About what time was that?
Well, about 9:45. That's when we missed it. I guess the necklace was taken about 9. Must have been right after we opened.
Could you give us a description of the piece, sir?
Yes, I have it right here. Got it from the insurance records. Have a drawing of it. We always have that done on high-priced items.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. What value do you place on the necklace?
It's insured for $8,000. Firm can't afford to take a loss like that.
Could you tell us exactly how it was taken?
Yes, I can. It was just after 9. We just opened the front doors. People had started to come in. Lots of shoppers. Christmas, you know.
Yes, sir.
Well, this one couple came in, asked to see some of our more expensive necklaces. Henderson brought the tray out of the safe and showed the collection of the people.
Henderson?
Yes. He's the clerk who was waiting on the people.
Oh.
I gave him his notice. I had to. It looks to me like carelessness.
I wonder if we could talk to him.
Yes, all right.
Thank you.
Miss Courtney, would you have Henderson sent in here, please? Yes, right away. What? No, tell him I'll call later. That's right. Have him leave the number and I'll call back. Right, yes. He'll be right in.
All right, thank you. How long has this Henderson been working here?
I'd have to check the employment records to be sure. Offhand, I think it's been about 5 years. Ever since we opened at this location. We used to have a store downtown, then we moved out here.
Mm-hmm. Where did he work before that?
Well, let me see. I think it was someplace up north. San Francisco, I believe. Yes, he worked in a store up there. Had excellent references. He's a good salesman.
But you gave him notice, huh?
Well, I felt it was the only thing to do. If he's getting careless, he has no business working in a store that deals with expensive merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Yes? Send him right in. What? No, please tell him to call later. No, I'm not into anyone. No one but Sharon. My wife.
Yes, sir.
Come in.
Do you want to see me, Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, come right in, Henderson. These are police officers, Mr. Friday and Mr. Smith. This is Charles Henderson.
How are you? Hi.
How are you? They'd like to ask you some questions about the theft.
Yes, sir. Anything I can do to help?
Could you give us a description of the couple you waited on?
Yeah, I think so. The man was about 35, maybe 40.
About how tall was he?
Well, maybe 5'11". Might have been 6 feet. I'd say he weighed about 155 pounds, something like that.
Uh-huh. How about his coloring, his complexion?
It was light. Looked like he'd been out in the sun, though. His nose was all sunburned. I noticed it because you don't often see people with sunburns like that this time of the year. You know, December.
Mm-hmm. How was he dressed, do you remember?
He had a gray hat on, gray chalk-striped suit on, flannel blue shirt, maroon tie. Didn't see his shoes. He had on one of those new round collars, though. You know, rounded here on the collar point.
Mm-hmm. Was he clean-shaven?
No, he had a little mustache, one of those that looks like it's drawn on with an eyebrow pencil. Just a line, you know the kind.
Uh-huh. How about the woman? What'd she look like?
She was a small woman, not much more than 5'2", little, about 100 pounds. Real pretty. She had dark hair and blue eyes, very fair. I noticed it because I thought at the time that maybe she'd dyed her hair.
Mm-hmm. Did you have any marks or scars you saw?
No, I don't think so, no.
How was she dressed?
She was a little too overdressed. Had a dress and a coat. Had a jeweled clip here on her dress. She looked kind of flashy, cheap, you know.
I see. Anything about the way they talked and the accent, anything like that?
No, nothing I can remember.
Would you remember if either one of them wore glasses, maybe?
No. The man, though, he had a kind of funny way of talking.
What do you mean?
Well, he sounded sort of like one of those pitchmen on TV. You know, the kind that sell kitchen gadgets, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Could you tell us what happened, what they said when they came in, how they took the jewels?
Yes, they came in right after we opened, asked to see something in necklaces. Said they wanted to pay around $5,000. So I brought out the tray, but didn't find anything that they liked. And then I brought out the other tray. They looked at one of the necklaces. Beautiful thing, $8,500. You know, Mr. Armstrong, the emerald-cut diamond with the small sapphires?
Yes, I know the one. Beautiful thing.
Excuse me, can I use that ashtray a minute?
Yeah.
Thank you. I wonder if you'd go on, please.
Oh, sure. Well, I brought out the other tray and showed them the necklaces in it. They both looked for a long time. And then the woman said that she didn't think there was anything there she wanted.
Mm-hmm. What was the matter? Didn't they care for our designs?
No, it wasn't that, sir. They just didn't see anything they liked. So they moved back to the other tray. And then the woman said she'd found what she wanted. It was a small piece, 3 diamonds and 4 small rubies.
Did they buy that?
No, they said they wanted to think about it. They made a big thing about asking me if I thought that it would be sold before they could make up their minds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told them if they wanted to put a small deposit on it, we could hold it for them.
Yeah.
Ben said he'd rather not do that. He said they'd know by this afternoon. At that time, there were several people in the store, Christmas shoppers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were looking at a display of bracelets we had on the counter. I went over to them to see if there was anything I could do. You know, tell them that I'd get someone to wait on them.
I understand.
It's a foolish thing to do, I know that.
I'm afraid it was.
Yeah, I know now. Well, when I got back, the couple was leaving. They told me they'd be in this afternoon and let me know. Walked out of the store, and I stopped to help a gentleman that came in. When I turned back to the trays, I noticed the necklace in the more expensive tray was gone.
Mm-hmm. Would you be able to give us positive identification of these people if you ever saw them again?
Yes, I'm sure I would.
Wonder if you can come downtown with us and look at some pictures, see if you can identify the thieves for us.
Of course, if Mr. Armstrong has no objection.
Not at all. You'd like me to come along, too?
I don't think that'll be necessary right now. If there's anything we need, we can get in touch with you here, can we?
Yes, right here at my home. I can give you that number.
All right, fine.
Okay. Here it is.
Thank you, sir. Well, thanks very much. You ready to go?
Yes, sir. I'll get my hat.
Just a minute, Henderson.
Yes, sir.
As soon as you get through down there, come on back. Your job's waiting for you.
All right, sir. I'd like to come back.
Anything I can do to help, just let me know.
All right, Mr. Armstrong.
Not at all.
I'll get my hat and meet you at the door.
Right. Have you notified the insurance company of the theft yet, Armstrong?
I have a call into them now. I'm expecting an agent from the firm any minute. Sure hope you can recover it.
Yeah, sure. We'll do the best we can.
An $8,000 necklace. How do you think they'll go about disposing of it? Break it up?
Well, either that or leave it in one piece.
That'll make it kind of hard to unload, won't it? $8,000?
Not at their price. "10:37 a.m. We talked to the other people in the store. From them, we got verifying descriptions of the 2 thieves. 11:32 a.m. Frank and I took the clerk, Charles Henderson, down to the city hall and had him go through the mug books. We got out a local and an APB on the pair of thieves, and a description of the stolen necklace was prepared for the Daily Bulletin. The insurance company that underwrote the necklace got in touch with us and said that they were getting out printed circulars to jewelers throughout the country. The victim was unable to make an identification from the mug books. We had the MO of the theft run through the staff's office, but when the possibles were checked out, we had no new leads. Further interrogation of the owners and employees of the stores in the immediate vicinity of Armstrong and Schneider failed to turn up anything new. The theft was not a new one. For the past 6 weeks, there had been a series of burglaries taking place out on Wilshire Boulevard. Most of them had been exclusive women's stores or jewelry shops. To date, all of them had been articles of small individual value, none that approached the value of the necklace taken from Armstrong and Schneider. In an attempt to apprehend the thieves, all of the usual avenues of sale of stolen goods had been checked. None of the precautions apparently did any good. The thefts continued. Another 2 weeks passed. In that time, the thieves hit 3 times, all in the same general area. The employees of the victimized stores were questioned. From the information we got from them, we could be certain that the suspects were the same ones we were after. On Tuesday, December 29th, Frank and I got back from checking a lead.
Well, there's another one that went no place.
Yeah. You want to check the book?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Anything there?
Yeah, there's a call here from Alex Olson.
Olson?
Yeah. Got a Dunkirk number. You know Olson?
No, that name doesn't mean anything to me. Say what it's about?
No, so just call him, because it's important.
All right. Give me the number, huh?
Yeah. Here you go.
What is this, 190? Is that a 9?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's a 9.
You don't make 9s very good.
Slopey, can't write.
Can I speak to Alex? Oh, Alex Olson. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The hotel.
Yeah.
Hello. This Olson? Yeah. This is Friday. Police department. You want me to call you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure, I remember, huh? Yeah, sure. We'd like to talk to you. Yeah. No, we'll come over there. That's right. You want to give me the address? Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Right. Bye. Olson, he works for that carnival. You remember we talked to him last year? Says he wants to see us about some burglaries now.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Says he's in with the thieves. 11:26 a.m. We drove out to the address Olson had given me on the phone. We talked to the desk clerk at the hotel. He said that Olson had just moved in, and that during the time he'd been there, Olson hadn't talked much to any of the other people in the place. The clerk gave us his room number, and Frank and I went up to talk to him.
Who is it?
Joe Friday.
All right, just a minute.
Hi, come on in.
Thanks.
All right.
Olson, this is my partner, Frank Smith.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I remember you. Sit down.
Thanks.
You want a drink?
No, thanks.
Oh, I gotta have one.
What was it you want to talk to us about, Olson? Olson?
Huh?
What was it you wanted to talk to us about?
Oh, man. I'm a hangover. I really get him.
Yeah, now let's get to the point, shall we? What's on your mind?
Oh, I'll tell you. I don't know why I drink so much. I feel terrible the next day. I always drink too much.
All right, now look, Olson, maybe you got a lot of time. We haven't. We didn't come over here to sit and watch you drink. Now get to the point. You said in the phone that you were in with a gang of thieves we're looking for. Now what about it?
What I told you on the phone is true. It's all true. I'm glad to tell you. Get it over. Get it all out in the open. That's what I need to do. Get it all out in the open.
You had any breakfast yet?
No, I just got up before I called you.
Is there any place around here you can get something to eat?
Don't make no difference around here. Nobody knows me. I think there's a place down the street right next to the hotel. But what's all this about food?
I think you'll feel better if you have something to eat, won't you?
No, wait a minute.
You've had enough of that. Put it down.
I don't want no food.
All right, we do. Let's go.
You guys are getting a little bossy, aren't you?
We want to hear what you got to say. You keep hitting that bottle, neither one of us is going to make it.
Come on, fella. We'll buy you some breakfast.
You got a coat? It's cold out.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure glad you guys came. I'm glad to get this off my
Wait a minute.
chest.
Those dresses in there. Woman's clothes. Those belong to you?
Oh, no. I'm just keeping them for a friend.
Well, labels on some of them here. Come from out on Wilshire, don't they?
You get a gold star. I'll tell you about them. That's part of the deal.
You want to tell us now?
Well, look, you made a deal about some coffee. Maybe it'll help me find my hands. Are you going to back out now?
All right, let's go. We'll come back.
Sure, you can come back. Take all the time you want to. Look the dresses over. I got some other stuff you'll want to see, too. But come on, let's go. Let's walk down now. Let's not take the elevator. It's too noisy. Murder.
All right.
Well, what's this other stuff you wanted to show us, Olson?
The jewelry. I got some of it in the dressers. Cheap stuff. Nothing worth anything. It's cheap.
Where'd you get the clothes and jewelry?
Oh, Red asked me to keep him for him.
Who?
Oh, he's the guy you want. He's the one that's engineering the thefts. He's the one. He's a real crumb. Big man. He's the one you want. I'd like to see you get it.
How many other people working with him?
3 others.
You know who they are?
Sure. I know the whole story, start to finish. I know the whole thing. I'll tell you all about it. Let's go out the side way.
All right. Now, where's this coffee shop?
Wait a minute. You sure you wouldn't like a belt?
No, and neither do you. Now, let's go.
Okay, you're calling it. Restaurant's right down here, just a couple of doors.
You know where this Red is?
Yeah, I'll tell you. He's the one you want.
How about the woman who works with him?
Oh, that's May. Red's not the guy who goes into the stores, though. A fellow that works that part of the operation is his brother-in-law, a guy named Hank.
What was her name?
May.
Well, it's May. Is she the woman in the team?
Yeah. Red wouldn't trust anybody else. Oh, yeah. He's a big man, you know. You don't believe it, you just ask Red. He'll tell you. Big man, big bum.
This the place?
Yeah. You positive? No, I guess you wouldn't.
Booth in the back, all right?
Yeah. Hey, Joe, it doesn't look like they got service in the booths. What do you want, Olson?
Well, it ain't what I want, but I'll settle for a cup of coffee.
Joe?
Yeah, it's all right for me.
I'll get it and bring it back.
Come on, Olson, let's go back. Sit down. All right, now suppose you start right at the beginning and tell me about it, huh? Who's Red? How do they work the operation? Where can we find them? Tell us everything.
All right. Well, first off, Red's real name is Keith Jameson. They call him Red because he's got red hair, it figures.
Yeah. What's he do for a living?
He works for Carney. Most of the year we're on the road. It's the off-season, so he's laying up in a trailer camp out in the valley. He doesn't do anything regular now. He just steals.
Is he one of the owners of this carnival?
No, he runs a pitch game. You know, rings and the pegs. If you play real good, you can win a quarters worth of slum for $5.
How about his wife? She travel with the show?
Yeah, she travels. It ain't a regular show, not Red's part. He's just got a concession, you know. He goes with the show like a leech. He's been thrown out of a dozen carnies for crooked stuff. His brother-in-law's a dip when we're on the road. Picks pockets in the crowd around Red's place. He's gotten us all in a lot of trouble. No carny in the country will have us around anymore. Don't take him long to get wise to it.
He's the one that's in on the burglaries with Red and his wife, is that it?
That's right. He lists the stuff.
How about his wife? Where's she fit in?
Well, she's the distraction. You know, the one that comes up and asks questions, pulls the clerk away so Hank can lift the stuff. In case there's any trouble, Hank acts as lumber, too.
What do you mean, lumber?
Well, you know, muscle. He takes care of the guys that beef.
Hey, will you give me a hand with that, huh, Frank?
Yeah, here. Look at my thumb. Stuff splashed on it.
Think it's blistered? No, it's good hot coffee in there. Here you are, Olson.
Oh, thanks. Come on, pass the sugar, will you?
Yeah, here you are. Where do you fit into this, Olson?
No place, really. I'm just along for the ride. I think Red figures sometime the axe is going to fall and he wants my head under it. I usually hold on to the stolen stuff until Red finds a buyer.
Does he use a fence?
No, he pushes the stuff himself. He usually works on a tip. You know, somebody wants to buy a piece of merchandise. Red meets him, sets up a deal.
You willing to cooperate with us all along the line on this thing?
Sure, I'll go along with you.
You know where the necklace is that they lifted a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, Red's got it. He's looking for a buyer now.
You think you can set up a meet for us?
Yeah, if he thought you wanted to buy the piece, it could be done.
Can you set up the meet?
Sure. I want to see you get him.
Tell me something. How are you going to come out on this if we pick up Red and the others? What do you want out of it?
I got my reasons. I got good reasons.
You want to tell us what they are?
Sure, I got no reason not to. Give me the sugar again, man.
Yeah.
You see, Red figures he's going to make a sideshow character out of me next season. I'm not going to go that route.
Yeah? What do you mean?
Oh, you know, the wild man from Borneo sit in a pit all day and yell at the customers. Pitch like that always draws a big crowd. Red figures it'll be good for picking pockets.
Yeah.
You ought to know by now Red's out of his mind.
Yeah.
Wild man from Borneo. Even a leopard skin won't help. Look at me. I only weigh 105 pounds.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record.
For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First, with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
2:24 p.m. We continued to talk to Alex Olson. He told us what he knew of the operation of the thieves. We went back to his room and searched it thoroughly. We found several pieces of cheap costume jewelry and several of the stolen dresses. Most of the other things in his room were worthless. As far as we knew, had not been stolen. We took him down to the city hall and had him checked through R&I. He had an arrest record showing several arrests for being drunk in a public place. We checked the name Keith Red Jameson through the files. There was no record on him. There was no record in the moniker file either. Jameson's brother-in-law and the two women were also checked out, but we found no previous criminal record for either of them. Communications were gotten off to Washington to check the possibility that the suspects might have records in other states. 4:40 p.m. We met in Captain Wisdom's office. Olson told us that he'd arrange a meeting for us with Red. While we listened on an extension phone, he called the suspect, told him that he had a buyer for the necklace. A meet was set up for the following morning at the entrance to Alvera Street. Red said that he'd have the necklace with him at the time. 5:37 p.m. Frank, Olson, and I drove out to the trailer camp in the valley. We checked the trailer that Red lived in, and also the one his brother-in-law had. We got a good look at the car Red would drive to the meet, and then we arranged for a stakeout on the trailer park. 8:23 p.m. The three of us drove back down to the city hall.
You ain't going to try and take him at the meet, are you?
We hadn't got around to that yet. Why?
Well, you do, and it's going to point straight at me. You ain't going to put him away forever, you know. He's going to get out, and he's going to draw a straight line to me. I don't want that. I got to be protected.
We'll take care of you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, big deal. You take care of me. Well, how? That's what I want to know. How you going to do it?
We'll get him before he gets to the meet.
Here you go, in here.
Look, tell me, how you going to work it?
We'll come up with a way.
You ain't going to get near him in plain clothes. I'll tell you that right now. He'll spot you a mile away. Comes to cops, he's got eyes in the back of his head. You can't get anywhere near him in those clothes.
Don't worry, we won't. He'll be picked up for something else. We'll find a necklace on him if he's got it, and you'll never know that's what we're after.
Well, how you going to work it? How?
We'll be in uniform, in a traffic car coming in from the valley. That might work, huh, Frank?
Yeah, I think so.
He's bound to make a mistake. When he does, we'll be there.
Yeah, that'll do it. You'll never figure out anything to do with that, never.
Yeah, it ought to work.
Yeah, that'll work good. Yeah. You guys wouldn't like
No, we wouldn't. No booze.
Okay. I just noticed the bar across the street. I thought maybe you guys would like to stop there. I'd feel a little better about this if I had a drink. Just a little one. Come on now, buddy.
Sorry, Alex. We got to take you over to the main jail.
You got a what?
For the time being, we got to hold you.
Oh, well, now, wait. It ain't the jail that bothers me, not being in jail. It's just that I hear it's pretty rough to get a drink over at the Gray Bar Hotel, you know. That's the only thing that bothers me. There's no room service there.
Yeah, well, it'll all work out for you.
Well, I don't know. So I got mixed up in this thing. Seems like I got no choice in anything. It don't seem fair. I got no choice.
DA's office will know what you did. It'll be marked down that way.
Well, I got no beef with you guys. You better take it easy with Red, though.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's got a gun.
The following morning at 4:30 a.m., Frank and I were dressed in the uniform of traffic officers. We were parked 2 blocks from the trailer park in a traffic car. The meet with Red was scheduled for 9 a.m. The officers on stakeout at the trailer park told us that they'd seen no activity in Red's trailer the night before. From where we were parked, we could keep his car under constant surveillance. At 7:45 a.m., we saw the suspect and his wife come out of the trailer and get into the car. We followed them over to Ventura Boulevard, and from there down Cahuenga Pass. We kept far enough behind them so that they'd have less chance of knowing that they were being followed. They turned by the freeway construction point and continued on down Cahuenga Boulevard. When they got to the corner of Yucca and Cahuenga, they made a mistake. They turned left from the wrong lane of traffic. Well, that's it. You want to hit the siren?
Yeah.
I got the light.
He's going straight down Yucca, Joe.
Yeah. Pull up behind him, huh?
Right.
Okay, he sees us. He's pulling over.
I'll cover the other side.
Watch yourself.
Right.
What's wrong, officer? I didn't do anything.
See your operator's license, please?
Sure, it's in my pocket. I'll get it.
You want to get out of the car, please?
Well, I don't have to get out to show you my driver's
I'd like to have you get out of the car.
Don't argue with him, Red. Do what he says.
What's all this about, anyway? What do you stop me for?
You made an illegal left turn back there at Cahuenga.
Illegal? Oh, you got the wrong guy. See that guy in front of me? He jumped the light something awful. He's the guy you ought to be after. He's the one, not me.
All right, move over to the car.
What?
Over by the car. Now put your hands up there. No, against the car.
I don't know what you mean.
Now come off it, Jameson. You know what we mean.
Get out of here!
All right, Jameson, on your feet.
What are you doing? You got no right to beat him up like that. Big thing for making a left turn. What are you guys trying to prove? Just wait until the papers get this. We got friends, you know.
All right,
big
lady,
friends.
take it easy.
I won't take it easy. Man makes a mistake and you cops act like you were the judges. You got no right to treat a citizen like that.
Here, Frank, you'll hold this.
Yeah. 38 Colt. You play rough, don't you, Red?
Ah, shut up.
What's this, Red?
You leave that alone. That's mine. Doesn't concern you.
Necklace, Joe?
Yeah.
So it's a necklace. What's that prove? You got nothing on us. Write out the ticket for the left turn and let us go. That's all you got.
You got a permit for this gun?
No.
This necklace is stolen. You know that, don't you?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to say anything till I see a lawyer. Nothing.
I knew this would happen. Always knew it about you. You're yellow. Willing to take a chance as long as you ain't going to be nailed. Let something go wrong and right away you start screaming for a lawyer. Poor excuse for a man. You took a chance and you lost. Well, don't be a coward about it. You got no excuse. None in the world. You got no excuse at all.
Well, that makes you even, lady.
Huh?
Neither of you.
The story you have just heard is true. the names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 15th, trial was held in Department 87, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I sure hope you were listening real close to what George Fenneman had to say tonight, because it proves what I always tell you. You can't beat the premium quality you get in Chesterfield, regular or king size. I'd like you to try Chesterfields. They're much milder, and they have a wonderful taste.
Henry Donald Swenson, Anna Catherine Swenson, and May Ruth Jameson were tried and convicted of 5 counts of burglary in the second degree. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 15 years. Keith Walter Jameson was tried and convicted for receiving stolen property on 5 counts and received sentence as prescribed by law. Receiving stolen property is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period not to exceed 10 years. Because of his cooperation, Alex Robert Olson received a lighter sentence and was placed on probation. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Stacey Harris, script by John Robinson, music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis Show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield's. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Cinderella lost a shoe, and so she got a maid with lovely shoes a girl can't lose. In gallon caps she'll race.
More miles to a gallon cap. Yes, Gallon Caps, the family shoe stores with the yellow fronts. The largest shoe chain in the West, with stores from Canada to Mexico to serve the West. GALLENKAMPS, Gallon Caps presents Pat Novak For Hire.
Sure. I'm Pat Novak, for hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak, for hire. Down on the waterfront in San Francisco, you always bite off more than you can chew. It's tough on your windpipe, but you don't go hungry. Down here, a lot of people figure it's better to be a fat guy in a graveyard than a thin guy in a stew. That way you can be sure of a tight fit. Oh, I rent boats and do anything else that makes a sound like money. It works out all right if your mother doesn't mind you coming home for Christmas in a box. I found that out Wednesday night about 9 o'clock. I closed the shop early and I came home to read. Oh, it wasn't a bad book if you ever wanted to start a forest fire. It was one of those historical things, and the girl in it was just getting her second wind and her third man when the door to my apartment opened and the place began to get crowded. From where I sat, the crowd looked good. She sauntered in, moving slowly from side to side like 118 pounds of warm smoke. Her voice was all right, too. It reminded you of a furnace full of marshmallows.
Good evening.
Yeah, thanks for knocking.
I don't think you mind my coming in without warning.
No, I get the cabbage smell from next door the same way.
Does it pay to be that polite, Mr. Novak?
Saves you the trouble of saying please. What's on your mind?
That bottle in front of you. Will you pour me a drink?
No. You'll save dough if you look up a bartender.
All right. I came to use you instead of your whiskey anyway.
Talk.
My name is Lee Underwood. I'll give you $300 to do something for me. It'll only take an hour.
That's too much dough unless it's murder. And if it is murder, it's not enough dough.
Are you afraid?
I just don't like paid murder, I told you. When you get caught, the pain gets expensive.
If it were murder, I'd do it myself. Mr. Novak, I want you to frighten someone for me.
Why don't you hire a friend? Are they too pretty?
It's a man named Dixie Gilian. You'll find him in an office down on Folsom Street, at this address. I promise nothing will happen to you.
That's what they told Billy Kahn.
He'll be in this office until 11 tonight. I want you to go in and see him. Tell him you're from Adrian, and that he's to get out of town by tomorrow noon.
Suppose he wants to put it off.
He won't. Don't let him know who hired you. Just tell him Adrian said to leave.
Yeah. You better go home. For $300, I won't buy a tissue paper plot. Now tell me more or say goodbye.
There's not much more I can tell you, except there won't be any trouble. He's a rotten little beast, and I want him frightened badly.
Why?
He's been bothering my sister.
Why doesn't he bother you?
Because I bother back too fast. Do you want the $300, Mr. Novak?
Yeah, it's going to be a long winter. Put it on the table.
Good. And you'll need this, too.
No, you keep it. I don't want a gun.
It's empty, don't worry. See? No shells. It's perfectly safe.
Now, look, I got a nasty disposition. You can rent that for $300, but if you want more, find a gunsel or an off-duty copper with it.
I don't want you to be a gunsel. That's why I want you to use this gun. I know it's empty. If you use it on Dixie, he'll scare fast. It's just a way to save some breath.
All right, it's your $300.
You better go now.
Yeah. Wait till I get it closer. If your doorbell rings, don't play mouse.
Oh?
Because I may look you up.
Am I too young to ask why?
Because if anything goes wrong, I'll be around looking for you. And from there on, it won't be nice. I'll dirty you up like a locker room towel.
Relax, Patsy. You'll never learn to fall in love that way.
She handed me the gun and walked out of my apartment. Seeing her leave made you feel like Frank Buck losing an argument. She walked with a nice, easy swing of a satisfied leopard, and for a small leopard, she had pretty good spots, too. I put the gun in my overcoat pocket, and I went down to Folsom Street. The address was down near the bridge entrance, and the street was deserted except for a couple of winos near the corner trying to buy back 1926 at $1 a jug. I stopped in front of the place. It was a machinery company, and I could see a light burning in the back. I began to walk through the place. It was so quiet you could hear a worm with whooping cough, and there were enough shadows around to keep a ghost happy for years. When I got to the office back in the corner, through the glass, I could see a man sitting at the desk. When I opened the door and walked in, he didn't seem surprised.
Come on in, mister. The bet on noise.
Yeah?
That's right. You make too much for a thief and not enough for a customer. What do you want?
About 10 words if you're Dixie Gilian.
Go ahead.
You better look up a timetable.
What makes you that tough?
This.
Oh. Well, you look tougher with a gun. Does it make you talk faster?
I'm going to say it slow, mister. Pack up your rompers and get out.
Is that you talking or somebody else?
I'm just the guy with a gun. Adrian does the talking.
And he says get out.
That's right. You got the whole message now.
All right, you told me. So wander out and spend your dough.
I will.
You'll need part of it, though, because I'm going to give you an answer for Adrian. I'm going to take that gun away from you, mister. You can pick the pieces out of your head on the way home.
You better stand back or I'll share it with you.
You got your offer, mister. Let's see you make good.
Yeah. Save your muscle,
Drop
fella.
that gun, will you?
Save your
Drop
muscle,
that gun.
fella. The gun's empty.
Somebody fooled us, mister.
Sometimes you can get a home run with a half swing. That's the way it was this time. He couldn't have made it with a prayer book in both hands. He slid down to the floor and trembled for a moment and then flattened out like a leaf in a pool of water. Just before he died, he grabbed his side as if he didn't like the way it hurt. And then he didn't care. I rolled him on his back and let him look at the ceiling. His eyes were open and he looked surprised, like a guy who didn't figure on a change in the weather. There was a scar that ran across his forehead and dug deep into his hairline. And he was lying there with a bunch of pink gum showing as if he was trying to pick up a few bucks with a toothpaste ad. I didn't have time to tell him how sorry I was, because if homicide caught me here, I'd have about as much chance as a canary in a basement full of cats. I started for the door. Right then, I knew I could start ordering birdseed. It was Hellman. And he walked over to have a look at the body.
Hello, Novak. The guy looks embarrassed.
Yeah, I guess he is, Hellman.
What's he doing dead?
Putting in a beef somewhere, I guess. He rates it.
He'll like you for that, Novak. How did it happen?
A team play. We worked it out together.
But you've got the gun.
That's right. I got the gun.
You feel like a bet?
No. Just keep stealing the old way.
You know how I feel, Novak?
Yeah, you feel flabby to anybody else, but to yourself, I suppose you feel good. Now, look, I walked in here with a gun. There was some quick fight talk, and I killed him, but it's still not a good rap.
I can get a long price on it for you, Novak.
I'll bet you can, Hellman. You can give me a bad deal, but part of the time it'll be from the other side of the deck.
Worse than that, Novak. It'll be all the time, and I want to watch it because I think you're going to be a crybaby.
I'm going to scream, if that's what you mean, Hellman. I'm going to scream about a gal that sent me in here with an empty gun.
That's a big hole for a cap pistol, Novak.
I got a last-minute curve. It was empty once.
Yeah. That's the only way they make a gun, Novak. I don't want you for an hour ago. I want you for this dead guy on the floor.
All right. I told you I didn't come in here to kill the guy. I don't know him. He may even be a good guy. I'm sorry he's dead.
All right, Novak. Just wait a few weeks and you can tell him personally.
Hellman had me up against the rail and he knew it. When we left there, he was wearing a big, toothy smile. It was big enough to sew on his ears. He called the coroner, and he told him to pick up the stiff, and then we rode downtown. He dropped the gun into ballistics, and he hauled me into his office. The reporters were there. He gave them the whole story and told them how to spell Hellman. After that, we wound up at the desk, and he booked me on suspicion of murder. The next hour and a half was the kind of stuff they don't write about in the paper. They call it interrogation. And when you're finished, you've been through a lot of tight spots, like a piece of bubble gum in a set of false teeth. About 11 o'clock, Hellman brought me into his office, and from there on, it happened kind of fast.
I just talked to the DA. He's going to streamline things for you.
Well, he's going to look funny, going to trial on a guy you can't identify.
I won't press you. I don't have to, Novak. I've got the only parley I need. You, the dead guy, and a big, fat murder gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hellman talking. Yeah, I know it was a .38. That crazy down in ballistics, I saw him standing over the dead guy. Well, they must have made a mistake, that's all. No, I don't want him in here. I don't want him in here. Hey, Tony. Tony,
You're getting pale. You need some more rouge, Hellman.
I got some bad news, Inspector.
Well, keep it, or you'll take more home to your wife. I'll talk to you later.
No, talk to him now, Hellman. If the bullet doesn't match the gun, talk to him now.
That's right, Inspector. A .38 bullet, but it won't match the gun you brought in.
It's got a match. I came in and found him standing there. He admits it.
It's a neat trick, then. If you fired the bullet out of that gun, he retooled it in midair.
I'm not that fast, Hellman. Get out of that chair so you'll have room to squirm.
You keep still, Novak.
Oh, I won't bother you. I'm going home.
Huh?
I'm walking out of your jail, Hellman. You got a broken-down .38 that won't fit anything but your thumbs. You can't hold me on that.
I found you over the body. I can hold you on suspicion of murder.
But it'll hurt tomorrow morning, Hellman. The papers will be down here for a follow-up. And you'll have to tell them what it looks like out in left field.
I'll handle them.
You can't afford to let them start laughing at you. People will get the idea it's your face.
You can save carfare if you stay right here. Because I'll have you back by noon tomorrow.
You're not that good, Hellman. You couldn't hold a moth with a searchlight. The town ought to thank you.
Huh?
Oh, it's a nice jail, Hellman, and with you around, it'll last for years.
We'll return to Pat Novak in a moment. You're going to put extra warmth and comfort in your Christmas wishes this year. How do I know? Well, because I've seen the Gallencamp Christmas gift slipper collection. You know, everybody's talking about it as the gayest, brightest idea on the gift shopping horizon. When you visit your neighborhood Gallencamp store, well, then you'll know why. There you'll find slippers for every member of the family. Soft and cuddly warm ski capers for Sis, handsome embroidered Chinese slippers for Mom, warm shearling-lined opera slippers for Brother, and good-looking, smooth kid opera slippers for Dad's fireside loafing. Yes, and there are appealingly soft and gorgeously colored shearling scuffs to delight the heart of any young lady from 16 to 60, and slippers for the little nippers. All are irresistibly comfortable, good-looking, and irresistibly Gallencamp price. Go to Gallencamp's, the store with the yellow front near you, to buy Christmas gift slippers that'll say Merry Christmas in a heartwarming way. Give more smiles with a Gallencamp slipper gift. And now back to Pat Novak.
When I walked out of headquarters, I had a nice mess to juggle. It was like trying to walk the baby on a floor full of marbles. If things didn't add up for Hellman, they weren't doing any better for me. I knew the gun I had went off. If it did, what happened to the bullet? And where did the other one come from? And why weren't there two shots? Oh, I couldn't put my finger on a thing, and nothing added up. It was like trying to follow a grain of rice in a Shanghai suburb. I looked up Lee Underwood's address, and I went by her apartment. The girl downstairs told me she worked at a nightclub out on the Bayshore Highway. Well, I had a couple of places to hit, so I looked up the only honest guy I know. An ex-doctor and a boozer by the name of Jocko Madigan. A good man until he began to figure the last drink in a bottle is just as easy to get as the first. Well, I found him in a little leather-trimmed sink on Powell Street. It was a grimy little hole where they washed the glasses once a week in stale beer, but Jocko was more at home than a vulture in Calcutta.
Patsy, you're just in time to celebrate my return to health. Something mild for Mr. Novak. A double stinger, perhaps.
No, forget it, Jocko. I got to talk to you.
Patsy, I've just passed through a crisis.
Yeah?
A few minutes ago, they set before me a glass with a woman's lipstick all around the rim.
All right, Jocko.
I took one gulp and looked at the glass, and in this dim light, I thought I was bleeding to death. It took them 10 minutes and 3 mirrors to calm me down.
Jocko, I'm in trouble. You got to help me.
No, but they washed the glass for me in ammonia. They must have left a little ammonia in the glass because the next drink had a very odd tang about it. I've had 3 more just like it, a sort of ammonia colony.
All right.
So far, they've been using domestic ammonia. When the imported stuff comes in, I may give up whiskey altogether.
Calm down, will you, Jocko? I got a bum shake tonight.
Yeah?
I either killed a guy or I thought I did.
Well, that uses up the alternatives. What are you doing now, taking a vote?
I got hired to scare a guy down on Folsom Street. 10 minutes later, the guy was dead.
Oh, Patsy, you take your work too seriously. Couldn't you have just scared him into a lingering illness instead of killing him?
One of the props was an empty gun. Only when the fight came, it grew bullets. Hellman walked in right after on a telephone tip.
Oh, what are you doing out of the electric chair?
Oh, the whole thing backfired down at headquarters. The bullet and the phony gun wouldn't match. Oh, Jocko, it doesn't add up. The call to Hellman's a tip-off. I was framed, but why wasn't I framed all the way?
Well, who is the dead man?
The guy with a falling blood count. His name was supposed to be Dixie Gilian, but there's no identification and no record on him.
Oh, you shouldn't have hired out as a gunsel.
I told you I didn't hire out as a gunsel. It was somebody else's idea.
Oh, you have no conscience, Patsy. Just a sort of soap opera rule of thumb you put into practice now and then, but no real conscience. You'd let a dying woman lie in the middle of the highway, unless her head was resting on a pile of raw bonds.
All right, Jocko, I'll cry with you later. I need help now.
What sort of help?
I want you to break into a girl's apartment.
Yes?
Don't worry, she won't be home.
Oh, is that supposed to be an incentive?
Here, it's at this address up on O'Farrell. Her name is Lee Underwood. She's the one who hired me.
Well, if the girl's not there, what am I supposed to find?
Anything that'll connect her with the dead man. He's a big guy with a scar.
That doesn't help much.
You can't miss. Go through the desk and the drawers. Pick up everything you can. Leave a message at my place, huh?
Oh, as soon as I finish this drink.
Hurry up, will you, Jocko? Leave the glass alone and get going.
Don't rush me.
Hurry up. The glass is empty anyway.
Yeah, that's what you thought about the gun, but the fellow got an awful jolt out of it. Good night, lover.
I went by a horse parlor on O'Farrell Street and borrowed a car from a guy. It was after midnight when I started down the Bayshore Highway, and about a half hour later I pulled up in front of the Cat's Paw. It was a long, rambling place on the left side of the road. No, there was no plan. It just followed the erosion line until they ran out of material. There was enough neon in front to light a main intersection in heaven. I asked a 50-year-old busboy, and he said Lee Underwood was back in her dressing room getting ready for the 1 o'clock show. When I walked in, she was sitting in front of a mirror, working on an upswept hairdo. If she swept it up any more, it was going to leave her head. I stood behind her, looking at the pink, fresh part of her neck that didn't show when her hair was down.
You seem fascinated, Patsy.
No. I just want to know where to break it.
Oh? Sit down on the footstool here next to me. That's it. I like to look down on people. Here, let me brush that strand of hair back. Or do you like it in your eye?
Brush it back so I can see your answers. Who's Dixie Gilian?
What difference does it make?
None to him and some to me. He's dead.
No, he couldn't be dead.
He'd like to believe that, too. I couldn't sell him that story about an empty gun.
He couldn't have been killed with that gun.
No?
No, I put in a blank, Patsy.
Somebody used a hard-working bullet because Dixie's dead.
There was no reason to kill him. I don't understand.
That makes you even with homicide, but they got a bigger team.
I don't understand it, Patsy.
Who's Dixie Gilian?
He was after some microfilm. I thought I could scare him away.
You better be ready to identify him because homicide stopped. Even the scar didn't help.
What scar?
Scar across his face. There's no record on him.
Oh, no, Patsy. Everything goes wrong. Everything you touch goes wrong. That's the wrong man, Patsy.
Yeah. Well, it's too late for a recount.
You've got to get to that body, Patsy. I don't know how, but some way you've got to get to him.
You look good, Lee. You'll make a nice picture.
Wait a minute, Dixie.
You don't need your coat. Come on.
I don't know how it happened, Dixie. I didn't mean it that way.
If you like it that way, all right. Bring your boyfriend, too.
No, don't let him, Patsy.
Oh, that gun's too big. I'm going with him. It was a short trip. He led us out of the dressing room and down a thin hall to the back door. On the way past the kitchen, you could smell onions and used grease, and that's all you noticed, except the sound of a jukebox somewhere out in front, and someone laughing in a loud, mirthless way. When we got to the door, it was raining outside. We walked about 40 feet, over near some trees where the dark was working overtime, and the gunsel made her stop. And that's where it happened. She's going to get wet, mister.
You'll have a little trouble yourself.
When I woke up, it was still raining, and I was lying on top of the mud like a stubborn seed. My wallet was gone, and the gunsel had ripped open my pockets. I stood up, and I walked over for a last look at Lee. The rain had washed the makeup off her face, and she looked small and tired as she lay there, like a broken doll that had been tossed out in the rain. I guess she was. I got to the car, and I drove back to town. I checked my place, but there was no word from Jocko, so I went up to Lee's apartment. When I opened the door, the room was dark, but I knew someone was on the floor. Either that or they'd varnished the floor with bourbon. I flipped on the light and bent over Jocko. Wake up, Jocko. Come on. All right, Jocko, wake up.
Oh, a little ammonia. I think, would bring me around.
What happened?
I was sacked, I guess.
Yeah, everybody's got the same act tonight.
Help me up.
All right, come on.
Where have you been?
I went down to meet the girl.
Huh? Where'd you meet her? In the swimming pool?
I've been in the rain all night. She's going to stay longer. What'd you find out?
The fellow with the scar is her husband.
Yeah?
There's a picture in the desk.
Are there any more pictures?
Oh, a few. Take a look.
Where, in here?
Yes.
Well.
Who is he?
Must be Dixie Gilian. He was down to pay off a debt tonight. She called him Dixie once.
There's a note with that name and address in the other drawer.
He's our boy. We better get up there.
Not if he's already killed 2 other people.
We can't wait for Hellman. If he gets away, I'm all through. I won't have a leg to stand on.
That's my point. When the other fellow gets through with us, we won't have much standing to do.
I felt better now. Gillian was the only guy left in the picture, so I dragged Jocko up to his place. It was an apartment on Post Street. The elevator operator took us to the 8th floor and said that Gillian had come in a few minutes before. There was no answer, so we tried the door and it was open. Jocko didn't like the idea.
Oh, Patsy, this is folly. Risking my life is one of the bravest things you do.
Keep still, Jocko. What are we supposed to do? The door was open, wasn't it?
So are a lot of graves, but I've never been tempted.
Hey, look at the furniture. There's been a fight here. I'll look in here. You check in the bedroom.
If I'm not right back, don't expect me at all.
Yeah.
Patsy, come here.
Yeah?
There's somebody on the fire escape.
Stand back here.
He's not moving. He was leaning that way when I first saw him.
I'll get on this side. You raise the window. Go easy, Jocko. Can you see him from there?
Raise it a little more. He's still leaning there. I can reach out.
Now watch yourself. If he's kidding, you'll lose an arm.
I've got him. Raise the window more.
Yeah.
Oh, Patsy, he's falling. Give me a hand.
Oh, here, let me through there.
Oh, it's too late. I can't hold him. He's falling. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He was probably dead anyway.
If he wasn't, that was a step in the right direction.
Oh, it was an easy night to die. 3 of them had checked out already, and there was still time to look for more. Jocko and I went downstairs to see the guy. He was lying face down in the alley, and as you looked at him, you got the funny feeling he belonged there. He didn't disturb the scene. He just fitted in, like a dirty, wet newspaper under a grandstand. There was a gun in his pocket, probably the same one that killed the girl, but there was no way of knowing. Jocko and I watched him for a moment, but your eyes begin to hurt when you see your only warm lead in a deep freeze. Well, it was past 2 when I got down to headquarters and I looked up Hellman. I briefed him on the girl and the guy in the alley, and Then I asked him if any microfilm had turned up on the first guy in the morgue. It was a waste of time. Hillman couldn't find a brass ring in a dead man's nose, but we went over to the morgue for another look. So far, it was working out like a crossword puzzle torn in half.
It's your time, Novak. I got more after tomorrow. You haven't.
The microfilm must be on the guy. 3 people have been killed for it, and I got roughed up just for laughs.
We searched the guy once. Here it is. Help me roll it out.
Yeah. Well. He sure got thin under that sheet, didn't he?
Wait a minute.
Oh, you run a good morgue, Hellman. What'll the papers say when they hear the stiff got up and walked out?
They got him in the wrong place or something. He didn't walk out.
He's gone, Hellman. Have you got an answer?
He's been moved, I tell you. The guy was dead, and I saw him put him here. He couldn't be walking around with a hole in the middle of his back.
Oh, I don't know, Hellman. You can do it with one in your head. Don't sell the guy short.
We'll return to Pat Novak in a moment.
Cinderella lost a shoe and so she got a mate. With lovely shoes a girl can't lose. In gallant can't you wait?
What girl hasn't dreamed Cinderella dreams of her own and wished for a fairy godmother to make those dreams come true? Here's what the newest Cinderella, Marilyn Buford, Miss America, says.
The modern girl doesn't waste time dreaming. She makes her dreams come true, and she needs no fairy godmother to give her lovely shoes. She doesn't, that is, if she has discovered my favorite shoe store, Gallencamp.
Yes, Marilyn, for gracefully lovely shoes, flattering and in the latest fashions, wise girls go to Gallencamps. Gallencamps are shoe-style leaders.
And so amazingly priced, a girl can afford to have all the shoes she needs.
And here's extra good news of a special Thanksgiving shoe sale. Yes, prices are actually going down on many of the up-to-the-minute shoe styles tomorrow at Gallencamps. So shop this sale at the Gallencamp store near you tomorrow to step assured into the exciting holiday activities ahead. Look lovely in Gallencamps.
Cinderella lost a shoe and so she got a mate. With lovely shoes a girl can't lose. In Gallencamp she'll rate.
And now back to Pat Novak.
When Hellman found out the body was gone, he stood there and stared at the empty slab. And then he started looking around in a nervous way, like a man trying to find the sugar bowl at a restaurant counter. A few moments later, he turned and walked out of the morgue, and we were halfway downtown when it happened. It must have hit us at the same time, sharp and quick, like a piece of candy in a bad tooth. That guy back in the alley had come off that slab in the morgue. We got out to Dixie's place, and we began to check. There was a phone operator downstairs, and she said Dixie had put through a call about 2 hours ago. Hellman checked the number, and it was the ticket office of a railroad. We got downtown, and we ran through the timetable. There was a train leaving the Oakland Mole in 40 minutes. Oh, it was an outside chance, but tonight that was the only kind for sale. We got down in time to slide on the last ferry over to the Mole. It was still dark out when the ferry pulled away from the slip and started across the bay. Over toward the Berkeley Hills, it was beginning to get light. The sky was the color of a bruise spot on a man's arm.
We'll get up to the pilot house and tell him not to dock until we've gone through all the passengers.
He doesn't have to be in on this one.
He'll check the train when he gets there.
Wait a minute. You don't have to check. There's your boy.
Where?
Up there. On the rail. Now, you better go easy. He's not a scale model.
Just walk quietly until we're behind him.
Yeah.
Turn around, mister. He'll get a better view.
Oh. Hello, Novak. How was the wind and the rain in your hair?
Meet Inspector Hellman. You better turn in your ticket.
Well, I hope you brought your muscle.
Grab it, Hellman.
That's what I'm trying to do. All right, copper. Watch it. I'm being pushed over on the rail.
Yeah, I'm worried, Hellman.
Watch it, Novak. I'm going over. Novak! That's one down, mister. Now for you.
Yeah. Well, I landed on the deck, and I watched him disappear in the dark. Halfway down, the guy turned in. I followed him down the ladder and along the main deck. He ducked into one of the engine spaces, and I started in to look for him. Oh, it didn't take long, because he turned out to be helpful.
You got the idea yet, Novak?
I'll come closer. Tell me then, huh?
Suit yourself, but I'll knock you down hard when you show.
Hey, watch that platform. You're backing into trouble.
Stay back there, Novak.
Watch out for that platform. You're backing into that engine.
Look out!
I kind of wound up last, huh?
Yeah. That's the way it looks. Did you get the microfilm?
Yeah. I got a big hurt. Does it show?
A little.
Yeah. It's been a long night, Novak, huh?
Yeah. But your worries are over. It's almost dawn.
I don't know. I don't know if I can use it, but I'll give it to you.
Well, they fished Hellman out of an oil slick a few minutes later. It was the first time his hair ever looked good. Dixie Gilian lasted long enough to piece the story together for homicide. Lee Underwood was on the level. She knew her husband was carrying microfilm and was worried, so she hired me to scare off Gillian. It might have worked, too, because Adrian was too big for Gillian to argue with. But the first slip came when Lee's husband went by to make a deal with Dixie without telling her. Well, when I jumped him, Dixie was outside and figured it was a double cross. He didn't have time to figure it, but he killed him with a silencer when Lee's phony gun went off. Well, he spent the rest of the time looking for the microfilm. That's why Jocko got sapped and the girl got hers. And by that time, Dixie knew the microfilm was still on the dead man. The only way he could be sure was to get the body out of the morgue. He took it up to his apartment, and when he got the film, he planted the gun and put the body on the fire escape. It was safer that way. There was a 50-50 chance the police would miss it the first time around, and he'd have a fair lead. It almost worked out for him, except for that phone call. The microfilm? Well, it was in a capsule next to the roof of the guy's mouth. Yeah, so old it was new again. Well, Hellman asked only one question. In that fight, did I have anything to do with pushing him against the rail? I told him. Sometimes those ferry boats roll as much as 45 degrees.
Be sure to join us next Sunday evening and every Sunday, same time, same station, for radio's newest show, Pat Novak For Hire. And don't forget, the store with the yellow front is the Gallencamp Shoe Store. Gallencamp shoes are good shoes. There's something about them you'll like. Franklin Evans speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. You get a call from a friend who's been offered $5,000 to kill a man. He can't tell you who made the offer. He does tell you that no matter what happens, the man is going to be killed. Your job? Stop it.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first, with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
was Monday, February 9th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:45 a.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
That's you, Joe?
Yep. You're in early, aren't you?
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night. Dropped off about 3 this morning, then woke up at 5, couldn't get back to sleep. I got up, made some coffee, and decided to come on in the office.
Yeah, I had a little trouble last night, too.
You did?
I mean, yeah.
What's your trouble?
I don't know. I got up late yesterday morning. I guess that was it. I'll get it.
All right.
Homicide, Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Johnny. Yeah. Mm-hmm. When'd you get the letter? Yeah, we'll be right over. Right. Bye. You remember that bartender over in that place on 6th Street, fellow named Johnny?
Yeah, is that him on the phone?
Yeah, says he's got an offer to make himself a fast $5,000.
What for?
Somebody wants him to kill a man. 8:10 a.m. Frank and I drove over to John Bronson's apartment. He lived in a new development on Wilshire Boulevard. We checked the nameplates in the lobby of the building, and then we went up to apartment 6B. We rang the bell and waited.
Hiya, Joe, Frank. Come on in.
All right, John.
Let's say, John.
Kind of early to get you guys over here, but I got worried about it and figured I better talk to you.
Uh-huh. You want to tell us what it's all about?
Yeah, come on out in the kitchen. I got some coffee made.
Okay.
Yeah, sit down there. I'll pour you a cup of coffee.
All right.
Good, thanks.
Well, it started last night. I guess it was about 10:15. Payphone in the bar rang, kept ringing. I went over to answer it. Phone on the other end asked for Johnny.
Yeah?
Told him it was me, and he hit me with a deal. First, I thought he was kidding.
What'd he say?
Well, he asked me if I want to make a fast $5,000. Of course, I told him, yeah. Then he sprung the snapper, said he wanted me to kill this guy, a fellow named Wilhelm Ulrich.
You know this Ulrich?
No, never laid eyes on him. First time I even heard the name.
Okay, go ahead, John.
Well, this guy on the phone started to lay it out. Told me how he wanted it done. Here's your coffee.
Thank you.
I asked the joker who he was. He said it didn't matter. All that counted, he said, was that I knock off this Ulrich guy.
Yeah.
I told him I didn't know who the man was, that I didn't know where to get in touch with him to kill him. You know, kind of going along with the gag all this time, thought it was a joke.
Uh-huh.
Well, this fellow on the phone said he'd give me all the dope I had to have, said I'd get it in mail this morning.
Yeah.
Came special delivery just before I called you, special.
Uh-huh. You got the letter, have you?
Yeah, I got it in the other room. I'll get it for you.
All right, I'll go with you. John, how much have you handled the letter?
Well, I opened it up. I didn't know what was in it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'd have known what it was, I wouldn't have touched it at all, but I didn't know. I looked at it when I found out what was in it and figured I better call you. Couldn't see any way to tell who sent it. Maybe you can when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw what it was, I didn't touch it anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see here. It's money.
Yeah, 5 $100 bills.
And what's the letter say?
Just a minute. Just by the edge here. I know it says, Johnny, here's the down payment. You'll get the rest when you finish the job. And the name is Wilhelm Ulrich. The address is 2192 Vine Street, Hollywood. It's written on a typewriter. No signature. That's it.
Let me see it, will you?
Oh, you can see it here.
First off, I thought the whole thing was a joke. I didn't believe it. You know, I just thought it was some drunk trying to be funny. We get calls like that all the time, guys trying to be funny.
Yeah.
And when I got this letter, I got scared. I ain't going to kill nobody, especially somebody I don't even know, not for no 5,000.
Did you recognize the voice on the phone, John?
No, I don't think I ever heard it before.
You got any idea why he called you?
No, I've been clean. I haven't got a record. Nothing like that. I run a clean place. Never done anything that could tie me up with the rackets.
Yeah, we know.
Well, maybe I ran a little booze during Prohibition. Not much, just a little. Everybody was doing it then, but I'm clean now.
Joe, there's a postmark here on the letter. It's mailed in Hollywood.
Yeah, I saw that. We can check the postal authorities on the mailbox number, find out when it was picked up, huh?
Yeah. Time on it here is 11, looks like 11:45 last night. That's the time.
Uh-huh. You sure that you don't know Ulrich, John? Possible that he's been in your bar sometime, maybe, huh?
Well, that'd be hard to say. We do a good business. Lots of people come in I don't know. You know, just come in once in a while. I wouldn't know who they were. They keep quiet, and I ain't getting nosy.
Yeah. Well, we're going on back to the office. You'll probably hear from the caller again, Johnny, and as soon as you do, you let us know, will you?
You going to see this Ulrich fellow?
Yeah, we'll talk to him. Might be better if you don't say anything about this to anybody, John.
Oh, don't worry. I won't.
Okay, we'll be talking to you later. You be at the bar?
Yeah, I'll be there at 4.
Okay. Thanks a million.
No strain. Glad to do it. Can't get over it, that guy calling and making an offer like that. I just can't get over it. He should know better than that.
Yeah?
Sure, you ought to know. Somebody ain't going to kill somebody they don't even know.
We drove back to the city hall and turned the letter over to the crime lab to see if they could find any physical evidence to help us identify the writer. We ran the name Wilhelm Ulrich through R&I, and we found no record. A further check on the name, and we came up with one possibility. The address listed on the report was the same as the one given in the letter. We pulled the package and checked it.
Let's take a look at it.
All right. Well, let's see. There's a crime report and a statement here. Report from Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
Well, what's the date on that?
January 2nd last year. Yeah. Well, it seems this Ulrich got a hold of some poison wine.
Wine?
Yeah.
Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah?
You remember Joe? He was an old guy. He was a German. He got a bottle of wine for Christmas and opened it New Year's Day. We worked that case with LaMonica and Galindo.
Oh, sure, I remember now, yeah. We ran down some of the leads for him. They didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
That was the one where he didn't know where the wine came from, isn't it?
Yeah. Nothing came from it. The leads didn't go anyplace.
As I remember, he's a nice old guy. I wonder why somebody's after him.
I don't know. Last time we couldn't find anybody with a motive.
Well, there's one someplace. We'd helped investigate an attempted poisoning of Wilhelm Ulrich over a year ago. Somebody'd sent him a bottle of imported wine. Ulrich had opened the wine for dinner on New Year's and had drunk some of it. A short time later, he was seized with violent stomach cramps. He was rushed to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital for treatment. He was then transferred to the county hospital for further treatment. Examination of the remaining wine showed that it had been dosed with a quantity of poison. Fortunately, Ulrich didn't drink much of the poisoned wine, and he recovered. Detectives Joe LaMonica and Danny Galindo had handled most of the investigation. We'd helped them briefly in checking out some of the leads that they'd gotten. We checked with them again on the case. From the crime report, we got a list of the people that the two officers had interviewed. We checked with them, and they gave us as much personal information as they could. 1:15 p.m. We drove out to see Wilhelm Ulrich. We found him in the yard digging in a rose bed.
No, I can't understand it. I never quite believed that about the wine, sir.
Well, why do you say that, Ulrich?
Well, I found it hard to believe in my heart that anyone would want to do me harm. I have no enemies. No one that hates me enough to want to kill me, I'm sure of that.
Well, I'm afraid you could be wrong about that, Ulrich.
The officer said that before. Somehow, though, I just can't believe it. I've nothing anyone would want to kill me for. All of the people I know are my friends. We all get along.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful rose? Such loveliness.
Mm-hmm.
No? I'm sorry, officers. You're mistaken about this.
I wonder if we could talk to you in the house, sir.
Yes, that might be better. I could make you a cup of hot tea if you'd like.
No, sir, thanks. Just the same.
Have you officers had lunch yet?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Oh, thought maybe you'd like a sandwich. Just got some liverwursts from a little place downtown. German, excellent food.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll get the door. Just sit down any place. I have to get the dirt off my shoes. Martha would be very angry if I tracked dirt around.
Martha, that's your daughter, isn't it?
Yes. She comes over every couple of days and straightens up the house for me. Wonderful girl, Martha. I don't know what I'd do without her.
Yes, sir. Now, there's a couple of things we'd like to ask you.
Certainly. Anything I can do to help.
Well, we'd like to go over the information on the report here.
Is that from the last time? The time of the wine?
Yes, sir, that's right.
All right. You just ask anything you want. I've got nothing to hide.
All right, sir. We checked the crime report you filled out last year. Now, has anything changed in your family since then?
No. You gentlemen still working on that?
Well, yes, sir. We have another matter to discuss here.
Oh, there's one thing that has changed.
What's that, sir?
The part here about me running the business.
Mm-hmm.
That's changed. I still run it in a way. I still supervise it, but Robert, he actually runs it.
Oh, Robert. You mean this name here, Robert Davis?
Yes, he's my son-in-law, Martha's husband. He takes care of the business now. He's a good boy. Martha's lucky to have him.
How long has your son-in-law been running the business, Mr. Ulrich?
Well, let me see. It's been about 8, 9 months. He took over right after I got out of the hospital. He's done wonders with it, wonders.
How's that, sir?
Modernized it, changed it all around. Had one of those efficiency experts come in and study the people. Time and motion men, I think they call them.
Mm-hmm.
They come in with a stopwatch and look at the people doing the work and figure out how long it should take them to do a certain job, and then they plan how the job can be done faster and cheaper. Wonderful thing, big changes.
Yes, sir. I don't want you to take offense at this, Ulrich, but how are the relations between you and your son-in-law?
I don't think I understand.
Well, you get along. Do you have any quarrels, disagreements?
Oh, no, Robert and I never disagree. I found out that it didn't pay to argue with him.
Sir?
I found out that it didn't pay. He was always right.
Uh-huh.
Yes, you see, we had a few arguments when he took over the business about this time and motion study thing.
I see. You want to tell us about these arguments?
There weren't anything serious. I didn't think that it was a good idea to change. I couldn't see any reason for it. Everything was going good. The business was making money. Everybody seemed to be happy. I didn't want to take a chance disturbing a good thing. You know, the golden goose.
Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead, please?
Well, Robert said that we were behind the times, that if we didn't do something about it, we wouldn't be able to compete with other people. We manufacture women's dresses, you know.
Yes, sir, I saw that on the report.
I finally told him to go ahead. I thought that he'd fail. He didn't. Now we compete. More dresses, more money. The employees are happy. They have music, coffee times. They like it. But it's all changed. I don't go down there anymore. I don't care much for it. It's changed. So I just stay home and work in the garden. It's Robert's factory now.
You and Robert haven't had any other disagreements, have you?
Oh, no. He's a fine young man, running the business very well. He's a good boy. I'm lucky to have him.
Well, how about your competitors, Mr. Ulrich? How do they feel about this change in the way you operate your business? They resent it?
Oh, no, I haven't really got any competitors. The big manufacturers don't care. I don't make enough dresses to bother them, and the other little men are in the same boat with me. They're too busy running the factories to worry about me.
Mm-hmm. Now, can you think of anybody who might want to do a thing like this? How about that phone call?
I told you before, I can't. I find it very hard to believe.
Well, we'll have to talk to the people that you know, the people around you. We'd appreciate it if you didn't tell anybody what we were after.
If you want it that way, it's so hard to believe. I still think you're wrong. Looks like it's going to rain. Be good for the flowers. It's been dry up in the valley. Farmers need the rain.
Yes, sir. Now, you'll go along with us on this thing, will you? Not tell anybody about it?
Sure, I'll help. It's all right if I tell my daughter and son-in-law about it, isn't it?
Well, it'd be better if you didn't say anything to him or your daughter, not to anybody.
They're going to see you here. They're going to ask questions. They're not stupid.
Yes, sir, you could tell them that we were asking about somebody that you employ. How'll that be?
What do I say if Robert asks what it's about? I have no secrets from him.
Well, tell him we ask you not to tell anybody about it. Tell him it's police business. Happens all the time.
I suppose I could do that, but I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's lying.
Yes, sir, that may be true, but it's the best way.
Oh, I guess it's a small lie. I can tell myself that. It's a small lie.
Well, we'll have some policemen come out and watch Mr. Ulrich until we find the person who's doing this.
Do you have to do that?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid so.
Well, no, I don't like that at all. Even worse than the lying. No, I don't like it at all.
Mr. Ulrich, I wonder if you really understand that when we ask you not to tell anybody about this, when we want to keep you under surveillance, it's just for your protection.
But if what you say is true, if somebody really does want to kill me, if somebody hates me that much...
Yes, sir?
Can you stop them?
We called the office and had a team of men sent out to keep Wilhelm Ulrich under surveillance. His house and his person were to be watched 24 hours a day until we apprehended the person or persons who wanted him killed. We spent the rest of the afternoon talking to the people in the neighborhood. From all of them, we got the same story. Ulrich was liked and respected through the area. All of the local shopkeepers and their business associates told us that he paid cash for everything he bought and that his credit was good. He was active in the local flower club and had twice in the past served as president of the organization. The neighbors confirmed what Ulrich had told us about his family. His son-in-law and his daughter seemed to be devoted to the elderly man and were constantly trying to get him to sell the house he lived in and come to live with them. 6:42 p.m. We returned to the office.
Man, it's really coming down, huh?
Yeah, it sure is.
You got a raincoat in your locker?
Yeah, I got one of those plastic kind in the bag.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get me one of them. I'll get mine. We go over and check the son-in-law. You got his address?
Yeah, it's a place out on Ivar.
Sure was a nice old man, huh?
Yeah, he seems to be. So you want to grab my coat? I'll get the phone.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Thank you. Homicide Friday. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, John. When? Yeah. No, we'll be right over. Right away. You bet. Frank.
Yeah?
Call from the bartender, Johnny.
Yeah?
Says he just got another phone call. Person told him that he'd gotten the down payment for the job and he wanted to know why Ulrich hadn't been killed.
Yeah.
Guy said if Johnny didn't get on it, the money wouldn't do him any good. Told him to make up his own mind.
Uh-huh.
Either he makes good on the job or they'll kill him.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record.
For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
7:10 p.m. We got to the bar on 6th Street. There were only a couple of people in the place. The bartender, Johnny, told us of the phone call that he'd received. He said that the person on the phone had told him that if he didn't hurry up and kill Ulrich, Johnny himself would be taken care of. We called Lee Jones at the crime lab to ask him if he'd been able to come up with anything on the letter. He told us that there was no way of tracing it. Fingerprints found on the letter were those of the bartender. Photographs were taken of the letter, and along with the money, it was booked for further evidence. We'd gotten in touch with the postal authorities, and they said that they'd give us assistance. They gave us the location of the box where the letter had been mailed, and they said they'd try to find out who sent it. We arranged for a stakeout on the bar, and then we called the men at Ulrich's home. They told us that the son-in-law, Davis, and Ulrich's daughter had been there, but that no one else had seen or spoken to the elderly man. 9:32 p.m., Frank and I drove out to check on Robert Davis. We got to the apartment house and rang the bell to the manager's room.
Yes?
Miss Franklin?
Yes, what is it?
Police officers, ma'am. We'd like to talk if we could.
Oh, well, I suppose it's all right. Come on in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
This is my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
What is it you wanted to see me about?
Oh, we'd like to talk to you about one of your tenants, please.
Oh? Which one? I bet I can guess.
Ma'am?
It's about that couple on the 5th floor, isn't it? The Radcliffes. It's them, isn't it?
No, ma'am, it isn't. We'd like to talk to you about a Robert Davis and his wife.
The Davises?
Yes, ma'am.
Why, never thought it. Should be the Radcliffes, the way they carry on. The Davises. I'd never thought it. What do you want to know about them?
Well, it's just a routine investigation, ma'am. Can you tell us how long they lived here?
Well, see now. It's been almost 6 years they've been in the building. Yeah, 6 years, anyway. I haven't always lived in the same apartment, though.
Ma'am?
When they moved in, they was in a little apartment on the 2nd floor, living room, a pull-down bed, little bitty place. And then they moved up to the 6th floor, 2-bedroom, nice place. Nice people. The Davises, oh, I've never thought it.
Do they have any close friends in the building, would you know?
Well, not Mr. Davies. He's kind of the quiet type. Never has much to do with anybody. He keeps to himself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mrs. Davis, that's a different thing. She's a living doll. She's nice to everybody and so sweet. Never had a harsh word for anybody. Always a smile. I think Mr. Davis thinks he's too good for anybody. He always seems kind of snooty.
Yes, ma'am. Do you ever have any arguments with anybody in the building that you might know of?
Well, he's had a few arguments like everybody else does. Like I said before, he thinks he's too good for anybody. He thinks he's better than anybody. He's got no right to either.
Ma'am?
Why, he owes half the people in the neighborhood money. Way behind his bills. Owes me a couple of months' rent. Never seems to be able to pay anybody he owes. I talked to the milkman, owes him for a month back. Every time he asks for his money, Davis tells him to come back and stop hounding him. Can't understand it. Seemed like such nice people when they moved in. 2 years ago, that's when the trouble started.
Uh-huh. It was our understanding that he had a pretty good job. Is that
And
right?
he has. Works for his father-in-law, manages some kind of a factory. Dresses, I think. Oh, but that isn't it. He makes enough money. He just spends it faster than he makes it, that's all. I think he gambles.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Oh, he's always going off on some kind of business trip. At least that's what he says it is, but I know different.
Yes, how's that, ma'am?
Well, he'd come back from one of those business trips once. Cab pulled up, and it just happened that I was standing out in front. A driver got out and gave him the bill for the cab, all the way from the airport. Almost $6. Well, anyway, when Mr. Davis got the money out of his pocket to pay the cab bill, a chip fell on the sidewalk. He didn't think that I saw it, but I did. The cab driver did, too.
Well, what kind of a chip was it, ma'am?
Well, you understand I'm not a gambling woman, so I wouldn't know. But the cab driver, he knew. Oh, you just betcha he knew right away. He picked up the chip and handed it back to Mr. Davis and said something about being in Las Vegas, kind of kidding, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I've seen Mr. Davis get upset, but never like that. He grabbed the chip away from the cab driver and told him to mind his own business. Said that he'd had the chip a long time, that it didn't concern the cab driver. He was real mean.
Uh-huh.
And then at night, well, the argument that he and the missus had, I never in all my days heard anything like that.
Well, what happened, ma'am?
Well, you understand that I just happened to be in the hall. I was making sure that the lights on the floor were all on. Those bulbs are always burning out, and I was checking them, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, anyways, I hear this argument coming from the Davises' apartment. Mrs. Davis is telling how she isn't going to stand for it anymore. Mr. Davis better settle down and get to work and stop this foolishness. She didn't come right out and say what foolishness, but I could tell. I could tell. It was his gambling, that's what it was.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else that you could think of that you could tell us about the Davises?
No, I don't think so. I'm kind of surprised, though. I don't like him, but I never thought that he'd have the police after him.
Well, we're just conducting a routine investigation, Miss Franklin.
Oh, now, you don't have to play cagey with me. I know about you, policeman. You and your routine investigations. You ain't fooling me. You want him for something. Now, what is it? Can you tell me?
Ma'am, it's just police business, just routine. We'd appreciate it if you didn't say anything to anybody about us being here.
Oh, sure, I'll go along with you. I won't tell a soul, not a living soul.
Thank you very much, Miss Franklin. I'm going to leave you our card. We'd appreciate it if you give us a call if anything comes up.
Michigan 5211, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. You just ask for the homicide division. It's written down.
All right, you just bet I will. Now, I'd be glad to help. I'm just glad to.
All right, fine.
One thing, though.
Yes, ma'am?
Are you sure there ain't nothing that you want those people on the 5th floor for, the Radcliffes?
From the manager's office, we called the Ulrich home. We talked to Mr. Ulrich. He told us about the visit that afternoon from the Davises. He said that he hadn't told Robert Davis anything about the threats on his life. We went upstairs and talked to Davis. We told him that we had a serious matter to discuss with him, and we asked him to accompany us down to the city hall.
I don't know what you're talking about. I told the police everything I know about this a year ago. I don't know anything about it. Wish I could help, but I can't. You know, this has got me worried.
Well, if you haven't done anything wrong, you got nothing to worry about.
I haven't done anything wrong.
In here.
Go ahead.
All right. Now tell me what this is all about.
Frank?
Yeah.
You want to check the office, see if we got any answers to the calls this afternoon?
Right.
You got a cigarette?
Yeah. Help yourself.
Well, let's get to it, huh? I gotta get home and get some sleep. I got a rough day tomorrow.
This won't take very long. How do you get along with your father-in-law?
All right, why?
Like to know?
Well, I don't see how that concerns you, but you asked, so I'll tell you. We get along fine, me and the old man. We get along just great. Does that make you happy?
That's not the point. Anything?
No, nothing new.
You go over to Las Vegas much, Davis?
Not much. Why?
How often would you say you went over there?
Maybe a couple times a year, not any more than that.
When was the last time?
What's so important about when I was in Vegas last? You guys spent a little more time finding out who's trying to kill my father-in-law, less time asking questions that don't make any sense. You'd be doing a better job.
What can you tell us about somebody trying to kill your father-in-law?
All I know is what he told me this afternoon.
What did he tell you?
Not much. Said something about a bartender, something about a phone call.
Did he tell you who the bartender was?
No, just that it was someplace over on 6th.
All right, Davis, come off it, huh?
What do you mean, come off it?
You want to tell us why you did it, or do you want us to tell you?
Did what? I got nothing to tell you. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We talked to your father-in-law this morning. We told him that we'd gotten a report that his life had been threatened. We didn't tell him how it happened. We didn't tell him where our information came from, so he didn't know.
All right, so maybe I got it someplace else.
Oh, wait a minute. You couldn't have. We didn't talk to anybody else.
Well, I heard it someplace. I don't remember, but I heard it.
We checked around, found out you gamble quite a lot. You're a steady loser. You owe a lot of money in town, don't you?
You're right.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I think we can make you for the threat on Ulrich's life. I don't think we'll have any trouble at all. You had the motive. You had the opportunity. First thing in the morning, we'll check with the factory. We'll see if you made a withdrawal of $500. We make that, and you've got big trouble.
You figure you're going to be able to do that?
We think so, yeah. We'll get your father-in-law down here and ask him what he told you this afternoon. Find out if he did tell you about that bartender, about the bar on 6th, about the phone call. You know, it doesn't look like there's going to be too much trouble making you for this.
Save your time.
What do you mean?
You don't have to go through that thrash. I did it. I tried to have the old man knocked off.
Were you the one who sent him the wine last year?
Yeah. That's when it started. I started to gamble. Lost a lot of money. Couldn't pay it back. No way to pay it back. Guys I owed the money to were leaning on me. I had to pay them off. Had to.
Yeah.
I could only think of one way, get rid of the old man.
Didn't you get a pretty good salary out of working for him?
Yeah, pretty good, but it didn't go far, not far enough. I tried to win it back, make good on the losses I had. I couldn't do it. The more I gambled, the worse it got. I just couldn't do it. Wasn't any other way. No other way. I decided to kill the old man. It's the only way. Can't you see that? It's the only way I could get clear.
Yeah.
I figured if I could get rid of the old man, I'd have everything fixed. Everything would be okay. Guess it worked out all right anyway.
What do you mean?
Well, there's nothing in the book they can throw at me. He's still alive. I didn't kill him. Who got hurt?
You did.
Well, how do you figure? I didn't kill him.
You're going to jail for trying.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 18th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I want to thank all of you for your interest in Dragnet. Thanks very much for your letters. We really appreciate them, and we'll try to keep right on giving you the kind of a show that you like. I want to thank all of you, too, who have switched to Chesterfields. I know you're going to like them, and I know you'll find they're best for you. Now, you folks who haven't tried Chesterfields, I'd like you to pick up a carton tomorrow. Chesterfield. It's a great smoke.
Robert Walter Davis was tried and convicted of attempted homicide. He received sentence as prescribed by law. Attempted homicide is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 20 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfields. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
The United States Treasury Department presents Guest Star with Harry Sosnick and the Defense Bonds Orchestra, yours truly, John Conte, and starring Jack Webb. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? This is John Conte, your host for Guest Star, a transcribed feature for Defense Bonds, presented by this station as a public service. Your maturing Series E defense bonds can go right on earning interest for you for as much as 10 years longer. If you don't need the cash right now, hold those bonds at interest and keep on buying more defense bonds through the payroll savings plan where you work or the bond-a-month plan where you bank. In a moment, we'll introduce Jack Webb. First, Harry Sosnick and the Defense Bonds Orchestra present Harry's own arrangement of the stirring Lady of Spain. Thank you, Harry. And now our guest, the popular young dramatic star of radio, motion pictures, and television, Jack Webb. He appears in an original guest star sketch entitled By Mere Coincidence. We take you now to Hollywood and Jack Webb.
My name's Christopher Adams. I'm 33 years of age, 5 feet 11, 172 pounds, black hair. I'm a salesman with Durham Industrial Supply. 2 days ago, I came to Washington, D.C. to wrap up some last-minute business before beginning a much-needed 2-week vacation. On the run from Washington, D.C. back to New York, that's where the whole incident began. The incident that almost cost me my freedom. A couple of minutes out of Washington, I thought I could feel somebody standing next to the empty seat beside me. He was a fat man, expensively dressed. Before he sat down, he tossed his briefcase up next to mine on the bag rack. I settled my head back against the seat and started thinking about that 2-week vacation. Well, the train bell woke me up. We'd stopped. We were in Pennsylvania Station. The seat next to me was empty. The fat man was gone. I yanked my briefcase down from the bag rack and headed up the ramp to the cab stand. It was 11:30 when the cab dropped me off in front of my apartment building. I let myself into my room, flipped the light switch, tossed my briefcase on the bed, and that's when I saw him. The gold initials on the case. The initials J.G. The fat man had picked up my briefcase, and I'd picked up his. Well, in mine, there was nothing of real value, but what about the fat man? What did it contain? It might hold something very important. I had to get in touch with him immediately. I tried the lock on the case, and it snapped open. I took out the contents. First, a sheaf of papers that contained some kind of odd drawing sketches of some kind. And then my hand closed around the steel barrel of a gun. Well, the drawings looked like floor plans. A photograph that slipped out of the drawings told me what plans. Just a minute.
Mr. Adams?
Yes, I'm...
Inside, please.
Well, what's going on here?
Comrade Gregor, he's here.
Yes. Yes, good.
Now, look, I don't know what this is
Close
all
the door, Maxie.
Yes, Comrade Gregor.
I see you have examined the contents of my briefcase, Mr. Adams.
Well, I was only trying to find out who the case belonged to.
Please, Mr. Adams. How well did you examine the contents? You know them well enough to go to the police?
Hey, now, look here. I don't know what you're talking about. All I did was...
Of course not. You're stupid. So stupid. You Americans make many heroics when the so-called chips are down.
No, let me...
Not here, Maxim. You waste time. Put the papers back in the briefcase.
Yes.
What are you trying to do here?
Good. In good time, you shall know, Mr. Adams. In good time. Ready, Maxim?
Yes, Comrade Gregor.
Good. Now, Mr. Adams, you will come along with manners, for I promise you a short ride. Shall we go?
Well, the fat man Gregor and his accomplice herded me out of the apartment, down into their car. At the curb, they put a blindfold over my eyes and told me to keep quiet. 2 minutes later, I'd lost all sense of direction. 15 minutes later, the car came to a stop. I was roughly guided up some squeaky wooden steps and ushered into a warm room.
Take the blindfold off, Maxim.
Yes, Comrade.
There. That is better, is it not, Mr. Adams? So, how do you like your new home for the next few days?
It's just fine. Now, look, what's this all about?
See, you are not stupid after all, Mr. Adams.
Well, I surveyed the room. There was a lone lamp on the table. The table that stood between Gregor and myself. Maxime was moving toward me. In his hand, he held a gun. Well, I thought it was now or never, so I made a pass at the table.
The lights! Get him, Maxim! Yes, Comrade!
I hit Gregor from behind. I heard him hit the floor. And then I caught the outline of Maxime against the window. I dived for him. I yanked his arms around behind his back and forced him around in front of me.
He's here, Comrade Gregor! He's here!
Maxime! Maxime! Where are you?
He's dead, Gregor.
Where are you? Speak again.
I got your partner's gun, Gregor.
Speak again, fool.
Oh, no. You're the fool, Gregor. When are you guys going to wise up? You're not going to rule the world. Doesn't your comrade know that? There are too many free men who love freedom.
Free men are simple fools who only know the simple things. Your speech bores me.
No, it doesn't bore you, Gregor. It hurts you. Destroy the free. That's your 5-year plan. Well, let me tell you something. For every free man you destroy, there'll be 2 more to take his place.
You're nothing but a hot-headed salesman trying to impress me with your schoolboy heroics.
You know, Gregor, I was just thinking. If I die here, I really got a lot more to lose than you.
Wait, Mr. Adams, there is no need for these heroics.
Nobody's trying to be a hero.
Let us have a part.
Yeah, sure. You guys are famous for your parleys, aren't you?
Wait, look. I throw down my gun. You heard it? You did the same.
Yeah.
Good. Now open the door so we have some luck.
Sure.
You fit this?
You didn't think I trusted you, did you, comrade?
I'm dying.
No, you'll live. I'm not that good a shot. Now, you're going to live. Wait till the boy hear that, huh?
No. No.
Yeah, Comrade Gregor. You're going to live. Well, I'm on my vacation. I'm enjoying the so-called simpler things in life. The beach, the sun, the cool drinks, and the pretty girls. Yeah, the simple things, enjoyed only by free men.
That was a fine performance, Jack Webb, as always.
Well, thank you, Ted. Of course, the same for you. And I enjoyed doing it, and it's especially nice to be appearing on a defense bond program again.
You picked a good time for your return appearance, Jack, because now you know defense bonds are a better investment than ever.
Yeah, I know that, Ted. I've always been a strong believer in defense bonds because they're a safe and sure investment. And with the new features, well, they're now even better. But the most important thing to me is the fact that bonds provide a perfect way to save, not only for your own future security, but for your country's defense as well.
Right. Defense bonds are now even better. Now defense bonds pay more interest and have a shorter maturity period. Two, we can all play a part in our country's defense effort by signing up for the payroll savings plan or the bond-a-month plan. Those 2 automatic plans that make saving easy and systematic.
Yes, these automatic plans make it possible to save before we spend, and that's important. So, friends, may I suggest that you sign up today for your country's defense and your own future security by enrolling in the payroll savings plan to buy defense bonds. There's no better investment in the world.
Thank you, Jack Webb. And now Harry Sosnick leads the Defense Bonds Orchestra in a musical finale, Johnny Green's unforgettable Body and Soul. have been listening to Guest Star, a transcribed feature for defense bonds presented by this station each week as a public service. Our thanks to Jack Webb for a fine performance and to his supporting players, Ted DeCorsia and Fritz Feld, and his director, Louis Graff. Next week, we'll have another favorite star and more good music by Harry Sosnick and the Defense Bonds Orchestra. So we hope you'll be with us. In the meantime, this is John Conte saying so long and reminding you that regular savings today means security tomorrow. Invest in defense bonds where you work or bank.
Sound out for Chesterfield. Chesterfield is best for you. First cigarette with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you're about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a robbery detail. A suspect has been apprehended. You have a positive identification from the victim. Your job, investigate.
Years ahead of them all.
Chesterfield is years ahead of them all.
The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story.
Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands.
Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size.
Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 3rd. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Didion. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:46 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
Joe?
Yeah?
You're early.
Yeah. I got to run over to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital.
What's the matter?
I don't know, Frank. I started to get headaches last night. I couldn't sleep. A ringing in my ears. I don't know what it is.
Now, hold on. Stay right there.
What?
Got up my locker. I'll get it for you.
What are you talking about?
The headaches get worse when you move.
What?
When you move around, it gets worse, right?
Yeah.
Feels like your head's going to blow up?
Yeah.
Huh? Glad you came to me. I know just what it is. Got stuff right up here. Someplace. Yeah, here it is. There you are, Joe. Take 2. Fix you right up.
What is it?
Salt.
Salt?
Salt. That's your trouble. You don't get enough salt. Same thing happened to me last summer. Ever since then, I always keep a bottle of salt tablets right in my locker. Always ready. Take 2. Fix you right up.
Well, I don't know. You got a penny?
What for, a cup? Oh, wait a minute, Joe. You're not going to drink that water anymore.
No?
Just a minute. Bought a whole case of this for us. There you are, boy. Drink it right out of the bottle.
What is it?
Poland water, Joe. 100% pure. Right from the springs. Real water.
Yeah?
Yep. Read right there on the bottle, see? Not carbonated. Full of minerals and good things.
Yeah, well, Frank, maybe I ought to wait and see the doctor, huh?
Joe, believe me, I know what's wrong. It's happened to me. Same thing. Salt, that's what you need.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. Poland water and the pills fix you right up. There you are. Go ahead.
Oh, look, I appreciate all this, really I do, but I think I ought to see the doctor, huh?
Joe, don't you trust me?
Well, yeah.
Take the pills.
Salt.
Salt. Take them.
All right.
There now. That wasn't bad, was it? If the headaches don't go away, we can drop by Georgia Street and see the doc. Well, you want to give me the bottle? I'll put the cap back on. Keep it fresh for
all right. Anything in the box?
Yeah, an arrest report. We're supposed to check the guy out.
Anything on it?
Held up a grocery store at the corner of 7th and Francis a week ago yesterday.
When'd they pick him up?
Last night. Victim saw him on the street and called a radio car, took him into custody, and then booked him.
Well, let's go talk to him. I'll see what he's got to say.
After we get through, we can drop by the hospital if he's still got the headaches. This shouldn't take too long.
Well?
Sure, guy's already confessed.
We ran the name of the suspect, Thomas Stanford, through R&I, but we found no previous criminal record for anyone of his description. 8:10 a.m. We drove over to the main jail. We went up to the second floor and signed in. Stanford was brought from his cell, and Frank and I took him to one of the interview rooms. We gave him a cigarette, and he started to talk. He was quiet and cooperative.
Yeah, I did the robbery a week ago yesterday.
I'd like to check some things out here on the arrest report.
Sure, I want to get this over with. I did it like I told you. Nothing special. Just held up the store.
Mm-hmm. Your full name is Thomas Arthur Stanford, is that right?
Yeah, Thomas Arthur. My friends call me Tom.
Uh-huh. Your home address is 1824 1/4 South Mariposa Avenue?
Yeah, I live with my father, 1824 1/4 South Mariposa Avenue, LA7.
What's your father's name?
Arthur, same as my middle name. I was named after him.
You employed?
Not regular.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't have a regular job like in a factory or a store. I'm a gardener. I work for different people.
You give us a list of the people you work for?
Well, sure, if you gotta have.
It's just routine.
Oh. Yeah, I'll give them to you.
You want to tell us how you committed the robbery?
Yeah, I'll tell you. Isn't much to tell, though. It's pretty simple. I went in and held the place up, took the money. That's about all there is to it.
Were you armed when you went into that grocery store?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a gun.
What kind of a gun?
.32 automatic. Had 8 bullets in it.
Where's the gun now?
Threw it away.
Where?
In one of the ponds up in Ferndale.
You mean up in Griffith Park?
Yeah, just a little up the canyon there.
You want to show us where it is?
Sure.
All right. If you start right at the beginning, tell us all about the robbery, what you did.
Well, why do you have to know all that? I told you I did it. There's nothing more you have to know.
We gotta have it for the record. It's just routine, like I told you.
You guys do a lot of things that's routine, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Quite a bit.
Was there anybody in the store when you went in?
Just the woman that owned the place. I guess she owned it. The way she carried on, you'd have thought it was her own money I was taking. Well, I took out the gun and I told her it was a stick-up. I said for her not to cause any trouble.
What'd she say to that?
Well, that's when she got hacked at me. Started to yell.
What'd you do?
I guess she figured I meant what I said when I told her to shut up. Anyway, she quieted down, then I told her to get into the back room. They got this little room where they keep the empty Coke and the beer bottles. I told her to get in there.
Did she?
Yeah, she went into the room, and I locked the door from the outside. And I went to the cash register and punched the no-sale button and took the money. After that, I left the store.
You didn't have the money on you when they picked you up last night. Where is it?
It's gone. I spent it.
You spent it all?
Yeah, every last nickel. I had myself a ball.
You remember where you spent it?
Well, around different places. I bought myself some clothes, spent some of it in clubs. Just went. None of it left.
You drive a car, Stanford?
Yeah. Isn't mine, though. It belongs to my father. It's a big Chrysler sedan.
Did you drive that when you held up the grocery store?
Yeah, I had it parked down the street on 7th.
Mm-hmm. Remember the time when you went into the store?
Yeah. It was just after 12 noon.
What were you doing in the neighborhood last night?
You mean when they picked me up?
That's right.
Just looking around.
You ever been arrested before?
No. Never been mixed up with the cops.
You ever been to the hospital? Mental institution?
What do you ask a question like that for?
Routine.
Oh. Well, when I was a kid, I had my tonsils out. I was in a hospital then. A couple of days. I don't remember it too well. It was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. How old are you, Stanford?
28. All these questions you're asking me. I told the 2 cops that picked me up the same things. Why you got to ask them again? Can't you just send me to the penitentiary and get it over with?
Got to double-check the story, Stanford.
I suppose so. Just seems that you're going to a lot of trouble you don't have to. I told you I did it. I'm not giving you any trouble. I confess.
No.
My father know about this yet?
Yeah, he was called.
He's going to be pretty sore about it.
All right.
Sure, he doesn't know I used his car.
9:15 a.m. We checked the suspect out of the main jail and took him over to the store that had been robbed. While Frank waited in the car, I went in and talked to the victim, a Mrs. Alice Kenwood. I told her that we'd bring the suspect into the store and ask him several questions about the robbery. During that time, I told her that we wanted her to observe the suspect so that she could give us a positive identification. I told her that it would be better if she didn't talk to him, and that if she had any questions, she could ask them through us. She agreed and said that she would do anything she could to help us in the investigation. I went out to the car, and Frank and I brought the suspect into the store.
Come on back here, Stanford.
What are you bringing me here for? What are you trying to prove?
I'd like to have you explain a few things for us.
Well, I told you all I could. I told you I committed the robbery. Isn't that enough?
Just a couple of things we'd like to have you clear up for us.
Well, what things? I told you how I did it. Well, she'll tell you. That's the woman I held up. She'll tell you it was me. She should know. She's the one who turned me in.
How about it, Miss Kenlon?
He's the one, all right. I'd know him any place.
There, isn't that enough? What more do you want?
I'd like to have you show us just how you came into the store, what you did while you were in here.
You mean the whole thing?
Yeah, from the time he came in through the door.
All right. Take these handcuffs off, and I'll show you.
You can show us with them on.
It's got to be that way. It's going to make it tougher.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I came in the door. I came in, and she was standing behind that counter.
You mean Miss Kenwood?
Yeah, her. She was standing behind the counter. I walked over to her and showed her the gun. Told her it was a stick-up. Told her I wanted the money.
That's right. He pointed the gun at me. I thought he was going to shoot.
All right, go ahead, Stanford.
Well, she started to yell, told me to get out of the store.
Certainly I yelled at him. You think I want anybody coming in here and waving a gun around? Oh, if my husband was here, he'd show you good.
See what I mean? I never saw a woman that could yell so much.
Go ahead, Stanford. What'd you do then?
Well, I told her if she didn't keep quiet, I'd have to shoot her, and then I told her to get in the room
Now,
and back.
just hold on a minute. He's not only a thief, but he's a liar, too.
Ma'am?
That's not what he did at all.
What do you mean, Mrs. Kenwood?
He didn't tell me to get into the back room. There ain't any back room.
How about that, Stanford?
You're going to listen to her? I'm the one that robbed the place. She didn't. I guess I know what I did.
All right, let's take a look back here. Come on. What's behind this curtain here, Miss Kenwood?
Just a little space where I keep my empty bottles. Goes right out onto the alley.
There, see, that's where I put her. That's where I told her to stay.
Mm-hmm. And you said you locked the door. There's no door there.
I got confused. It doesn't make any difference. I told her to get back there and stay there until I was out of the store.
That's a lie. You did no such thing. You told me to get down on the floor and cover my face. Then you went over to the cash register and you took the money. I didn't move. Didn't want to give you any trouble the way you were waving that gun around. It's a wonder you didn't try to kill me.
The way you're yakking it up, I should have done it.
All right, that's enough. Frank?
Yeah?
You want to take Stanford out to the car? I'll be right with you.
Yeah, okay. Come on, Stanford, let's go.
You know what you got to go through all this for. I told you I did it. I never saw anything like it before. You can't even confess around here. Nobody believes it.
Miss Kenwood?
Yes, officer.
Are you sure that's the man that held you up here?
I said it before. I'm positive. There isn't any doubt in my mind.
Uh-huh. Now, you heard what he said, how he said he robbed you. Is that the way it happened?
Well, everything was the same except where he said that he put me in back there. That wasn't true. He made me lie down on the floor right there. Told me to stay still for 5 minutes, not to move. Said that if I caused any trouble, he'd come back and shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's crazy. Anybody would wave a gun around like that. It's terrible. I wish my husband was here. He'd show that snip. He's in the Army, you know, my husband.
Yes, ma'am.
Awful thing. Him overseas getting shot at and young punks like that roaming around the streets with guns, threatening people. It's a terrible thing.
Now, this is pretty important, ma'am. I want to ask you once more. You're sure that's the man who held you up?
How many times do I have to say it? I told you that it is. He admits it himself. What more do you need?
Well, I don't know, ma'am. There's just something here that isn't right about the whole thing.
Doesn't make any difference. He's the man. There's no mistake about that. Oh, you just let me know when you want me in court. I'll be there. I want to see him get what's coming to him, every bit of it.
Yes, ma'am. So do we, if he's the right man. 12:22 p.m. We drove the suspect back to the city hall for further questioning. Frank took him to the interrogation room, and I checked into the squad room.
Pardon me?
Yes, sir?
Sergeant Friday?
Yes, sir. Something I can do for you?
I'm Arthur Stanford, Tom's father.
Oh, yes, sir.
I understand my son is here. Is that right?
Yes, sir. He's here.
Wonder if I could see him, talk to him?
Yes, sir. I think that can be arranged.
Has he told you why he did it? Has he?
Well, he's given us some reasons, sir. None of them are very good.
I can't understand it. Just isn't any reason for him to do a thing like this. No reason at all that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to do, Mr. Friday. I left the house this morning, and all the people in the neighborhood knew about it. They all knew. I walked down the street, and they turned away from me. I could see them watch me through the windows of their houses. I could tell what they were thinking. My son's a thief. Common thief. And in my heart, I know it's true. I don't know what to do about it, Mr. Friday. Can you tell me?
No, sir. I'm afraid I can't.
Well, maybe he can. May I see him?
Yes, sir. He's across the hall. This way. Right over here, sir.
I wonder if I could have a cigarette?
Yes, sir. Here you are. Here's a match.
Thank you. I'm not sure what I'm going to say to him when I see him. Wish I had some time to think.
Well, you don't have to go in now if you don't want to, sir.
Oh, it wouldn't help any to put it off. Won't get any easier with time. I might as well get it over with.
All right, sir.
Hi, Pop.
Why'd you do it, son?
Well, I did it because I wanted to. I wanted the money. I didn't know any other reason you robbed somebody. I wanted the money, so I did it.
You could have come to me. I'd have tried to get the money for you. You knew I'd have tried.
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get that kind of money? All your life you've been grubbing for pennies. I don't want small money. I want to be rich. I will be, too.
All right, take it easy, Stanford.
It's all right, Mr. Friday. I understand.
All my life you've been saying you understand. I'm getting sick of it. As long as I can remember, you've been telling me to get out and do something on my own. Well, I finally did it. Now you aren't happy with it.
You expect me to throw my head up in the air because you're a thief?
Oh, knock it off. I'm tired of you giving me lectures all the time. Yakety-yak. Never stop.
That's enough of that, don't you think, Stanford?
Well, you keep out of this, cop. This is a family matter. It doesn't concern you. This is between my father and me.
Well, tell me why. That's all I want. Why? Tell me so I can face the neighbors, so I can tell them you had a reason.
Tell them your son's a bum.
Well, they know that already, but that's not a reason to steal.
It's good enough for me. They're not going to listen to you anyway. They already made up their minds about me. They did that a long time ago.
Come on, Stanford. Let's go back to jail.
Sure. Anything else here to do? He never understood. He never did. Let's go.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to ask first.
What's that?
You're going to jail for a long time. I have to live while you're gone.
It's your worry.
And it always has been. I want to know what you did with the gardening tools. I'd like to have them to get along.
I don't know. I left them someplace.
You remember where? Think. I need those tools.
I'm not sure. Maybe at Mrs. Howard's. Maybe that's where I left.
Over on 12th?
Yeah, I did her place last Wednesday. I guess I forgot to pick stuff up when I left. It must still be there.
And I'll go over and get them.
Wait a minute.
What do you want?
He said you did some gardening for this Mrs. Howard last Wednesday. That'd be a week ago yesterday, is that right?
That's what I said.
You remember what time you were there?
Most of the day. I got there about 10 in the morning. Left about 4 in the afternoon. I was in a hurry to get away. That's why I forgot the tools, I guess.
You leave the place at all during the day?
Not till I finished. What are you trying to prove with all these questions?
It's about the robbery, Stanford.
Yeah?
If you were at this Howard woman's house, how could you held up the grocery store?
Don't make no difference how I did it. I don't have to explain it to you.
No, you're wrong about that, Stanford.
Is that right?
Too many things here don't add up. The way you confessed, the difference in your story about the robbery. Now, this thing about you being at the Howard house. I don't know why you're lying about this, Stanford.
Yeah?
But we're going to find out.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record. For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
We continued to talk to the suspect, Thomas Stanford, for another hour. He refused to say anything about the conflicting aspects of his story. His father pleaded with him to tell us the truth, but other than admitting he was responsible for the grocery store robbery, he'd say nothing. We got the address of the house where Stanford had said he'd left the gardening tools. 3:15 p.m. After taking the suspect back to the main jail, Frank and I drove out to talk to the Howard woman.
Place sure looks nice. Well kept.
Yeah.
Look at those carnations, Joe. Ever seen anything so pretty?
Yeah, they're very nice.
You know, Faye tries them all the time. Never seems to have any luck with them, though. Plants come up all right, but the flowers just don't seem to get very big.
Mm-hmm.
About size of $50. Little bitty things.
Yeah.
Sure smell good, though.
I get the bill.
Yes?
Miss Howard?
That's right. Is there something you want?
Police officers, ma'am. We'd like to talk to you.
Policeman? What do you want to see me for?
Well, it's about a man who did some work for you, Thomas Stanford.
Oh. Yes, come in, won't you?
Thank you very much. My name's Friday, Mrs. Howard. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
Well, how do you do?
How you doing, man?
Just sit down there. I'm having a late lunch. Can I get you anything?
No, thank you.
No, thank you, man.
Sure you wouldn't have a glass of iced tea or something like that?
No, thanks, Miss Howard. How about this man, Stanford?
Oh, yes, Tom. He's a good gardener. Does a beautiful job on the place. You should take a walk around the grounds. He keeps it just beautifully.
Yes, ma'am. Could you tell us when he was here last?
Oh, well, I'd have to think about that. Let's see. Well, I think it was a week ago yesterday. Yes, that's right, last Wednesday. He comes once a week. He should have been here yesterday. Called his house when he didn't show up. No answer. Probably forgot. He's very forgetful, you know.
Is that right?
Oh, yes. But take the last time he was here. He walked off and forgot all of his tools. Lawnmower, clippers, everything. Had to take it back to the garage. Just left it on the lawn right out in the front of the place.
Mm-hmm. You ever had any trouble with him?
What do you mean by trouble?
Well, any arguments, disagreements?
Well, on a couple of occasions, we've had words about what flowers to put in. He's wanted to plant one thing, I've wanted something else. They've never been serious, though.
Yes, ma'am.
I suppose I shouldn't say this.
What's that, Miss Howard?
Well, frankly, I've never thought that Tom was real bright. He seemed sort of backwards.
How do you mean, backward?
Well, when it came to thinking out something for himself, he just couldn't handle it. If you told him to do a thing a certain way, he'd do it. Never vary from the way you told him.
Mm-hmm.
You'd ask him to figure something out, and he was dead. Seemed like the motor was turning over all right, but he just couldn't get the clutch out. Gears just wouldn't work.
Yes, ma'am.
That's why I say I don't think he's very bright. He just can't seem to think for himself. No initiative.
Do you remember what time he was here on Wednesday?
Well, now, let's see. He got here about 10 in the morning. It was right after that radio show about the Friends. I'd just finished listening to that when he got here. That goes off the air at 10. Have you ever heard it?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you should listen sometime. These people tell why they need a friend to help them out of trouble. Well, I listen to it every morning. It makes me feel pretty lucky, those poor people. I sure appreciate what I've got when I hear what they have to say.
Uh-huh. Was Stanford here all day, ma'am?
Yes, all day. He didn't leave until, let's see. Well, I guess it was about 5, someplace around in there. It seems to me it was just before the 5 o'clock news, just before that when he left.
You say he got here at 10, and then he left just before 5 o'clock, is that right?
That's right.
Any chance that he might have been away without you knowing it?
No, I'd have known it if he had. He was out in the backyard most of the morning, and then he took care of the front later in the day.
Well, what's he do about lunch, Miss Howard?
What do you mean?
Well, does he bring his lunch with him?
Once in a while he does, yes. Well, he didn't on Wednesday, though. I'm sure about that.
How do you mean, Mrs. Howard?
Well, along about lunchtime. It was right after the noon news. I made up a little plate for him. A couple of sandwiches, potato chips, and some pickles. Little tiny sweet gherkins. I made it up and I took it out to him.
Yes, ma'am.
I took this nice plate out to him, and where do you suppose I found him?
Where?
Out behind the garage, sitting next to the compost box. What do you suppose he was doing?
What, ma'am?
Reading a comic book. All about cops and robbers. One of those with a picture on the cover of the crooks trying to shoot their way out of the bank.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that he'd better get on the ball, let the clutch out, and get to work. I told him that I wanted the yard finished up by 5, and that I didn't want any funny business about it.
What did he say to that?
Well, he just looked at me for a long time, and then he said, "Okay, Warden." Just like that. "Okay, Warden." But he got to work right away, and he finished up on time. You see, my son and daughter-in-law were coming over. It was his birthday, and we'd planned a little party. I wanted the place to be nice for them.
Yes, ma'am, we understand. Is it possible that Stanford could have gotten away from the yard at all between 10 and 5?
No, I'm sure of that. He was here all the time.
All right, ma'am. Thank you very much.
What's this all about? Is Tom in some sort of trouble?
No, it's just a routine investigation, Miss Howard. I'm going to give you our card in case you think of anything else. Here you are.
Oh, thank you. Michigan 5211, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Ask for Robbery Division. That's extension 2511. It's right on the card.
Oh, yes. Poor Tom, all this trouble. It's too bad.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wish this was New York.
Beg your pardon?
Well, if this was New York, everything would be all right.
How's that?
That program about the Friends?
Yes, ma'am.
Tom could sure use one.
We left Mrs. Howard's home and talked to some of the people in the neighborhood. They told us that the Howards were respected people in the community, and some of them verified the fact that Stanford had worked for almost 2 years. The man who lived directly across the street from the Howard house said that he'd talked with Stanford on the afternoon of the robbery. He said that he'd asked the suspect about the seeds that he used to raise the carnations that were planted along the front of the house. He went on to say that he'd been working in the front yard of his own house all afternoon and that he'd seen the suspect throughout that time. We drove back to the grocery store and talked with the victim, Mrs. Kenwood. Under questioning, she admitted that she could have made a mistake about the identification, but she said that if she was wrong, the thief could act as a double for Tom Stanford. 10:30 p.m., we drove back to the main jail and picked up the suspect. We took him back to the city hall and talked to him in the interrogation room. He was sullen and refused to answer our questions.
Stanford?
Yeah?
I'd like to have you tell us the truth this time.
I told you it isn't my fault. If you don't believe me, it isn't my fault.
Now, look, Stanford, we talked with this Mrs. Howard. She told us that you were working for her all day a week ago Wednesday.
So what's that prove?
Well, you admit it's true then, huh?
Sure, it's true. I was working for
Then how could you have gotten to the grocery store and held it up? Stanford?
I did it. I haven't got anything more to say. I did the robbery. Smith, you get tonight's papers?
Yeah, I picked them up earlier.
Anything in them about me?
I didn't see anything.
There must have been something. Some story about me with my name.
Well, if there was, I didn't see it.
Well, maybe it didn't look good.
Maybe.
There's got to be something, a picture or something.
No.
Well, let me look.
Where'd you leave the papers, Frank?
Squad room.
Would you get them and let me look?
Sure.
Pretty important to you that you're in the papers, isn't it?
I just want to see him, that's all.
Well, he'll bring him back.
You must have made a mistake. There's something about me. There's got to be. It isn't every day there's a robbery like this. The papers would write it up big, wouldn't they?
I don't know.
Well, sure they would. There was a story when the place was robbed, told all about how it was done. It was just a little story, but now they've got me. It seems you should have a picture.
Here it is.
Let me see. Nothing on the first page.
Robbery happened a week ago. It's old news.
Yeah, but you just caught me last night. Nothing. Not one lousy word. Nothing at all.
That makes a difference, doesn't it?
Sure it does. Sure. If there isn't anything in the papers, how are people going to know I did it? How are they going to know?
They won't.
But they got it. They got it. Don't you see that? If they don't know that I did the robbery, there ain't no reason for it. No reason at all.
What do you mean, Stanford?
Well, there won't be no pictures, no nothing. People still think I'm nobody. No one's going to know that I did do something. No one will know.
Well, the way it looks to us, you didn't do it.
There should be a story about it, about how he confessed. Maybe not a picture, but at least a story, something.
You didn't do it, did you? Stanford? Come on. You didn't hold up that story, did you?
No. No, I didn't. I thought I could get away with it. I thought that if I confessed, you'd put me in jail and people would look at me different. And they wouldn't laugh at me anymore because I'd done something.
Mm-hmm.
Poor dumb Tom. That's what they say, poor dumb Tom. Just once I wanted to show him that I could do something.
You ready to go?
Back to the jail?
That's right.
You think we could stop on the way over? I'd like to pick up something.
Yeah, what's that?
Other papers. Might be something in them.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On June 4th, a meeting was held in the District Attorney's Office, City and County of Los Angeles, State of California. In a moment, the results of that meeting.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. I'd like to talk to you people who don't smoke Chesterfields. I'm convinced that if you try just one carton, you'll find they're best for you. They're milder, they have a wonderful taste, and most important, they have premium quality in both sizes, regular or king size. So pick up that carton, will you? Chesterfields. Try them.
A 5.10 report was filed on Thomas Arthur Stanford, and he was released from custody. 10 months later, on May 22nd, James R. Rogers was apprehended while attempting to hold up a liquor store at the corner of 3rd and Temple Streets. While being interrogated, he confessed to committing the robbery that Stanford had been accused of. The physical appearance of the two men was almost identical. Rogers was tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size. you'll find premium quality Chesterfields much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield.
Tonight it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, first with premium quality and best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You get a call from a truck rental service. One of their trucks has disappeared. There's no sign of the man who rented it. Your job, find him. Years ahead of them all. Chesterfield is years ahead of them all. The quality contrast between Chesterfield and other leading brands is a revealing story. Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest. Chesterfield quality highest. 15% higher than its nearest competitor. Chesterfield quality highest. 31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands. Yes, Chesterfield is first with premium quality in both regular and king size. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, April 20th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Nelson. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:02 a.m. when I got to room 40. Auto theft. Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Where'd you get sunburned?
Went fishing yesterday.
Yeah? Where'd you go?
Down Newport.
How'd you do?
Didn't.
What do you mean?
I didn't. Yesterday's the first day off we've been able to collect for a month.
Yeah, I know.
Last Thursday, I checked with a skipper. Said it looked like I'd be able to make it sure this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I called the place. I made reservations. All set. Gonna go fishing.
Yeah.
Saturday night, I got all my tackle out and took my reel apart, cleaned it, all ready. Say, packed a lunch. Real good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all set. Get up at 4:45 in the morning. I drove down to Newport. Beautiful morning, Joe.
Yeah,
Sun shining. Little wind, you know. Really looking forward to it. Gonna be a real day off, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Get down there, get on the boat. Not many people, maybe 15 or 20.
Yeah, not many for a Sunday, was it?
No, that's why I think I got it made. I got a place right at the back of the boat, and we shoved off. I went down to get some breakfast. You know, load up and really pull those fish in.
Yeah.
I got through eating, went up on deck. Where do you suppose we were?
Well, I wouldn't know.
I'll take a guess.
Frank, I wouldn't have the least idea. All right, where were you?
Right back at the dock.
What?
Yeah, right back at the dock. They'd gone out to the ocean, and the water was so rough, they turned around and came right back. And all the while, I'm down below having breakfast. I didn't even see the ocean.
Oh, well, that's too bad, isn't it?
Yeah. Picked up my tackle, went over and fished on the pier. After all day. Ate my lunch and fished all day.
Well, how'd you do there? Pretty good, huh?
All day just getting a blister on my lip from the sun. I just sat there.
Yeah, well, did you catch anything? How'd you do?
Skunk.
Huh?
Skunk, nothing.
You mean you didn't catch anything at all?
Oh, a couple little perch.
Uh-huh.
Skunk.
Yeah, well, too bad. Did you check the book?
My day off. I'm skunked.
I got it. Auto theft Friday. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, when does it go out? Yes, just a minute. All right, what's that address again? Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll be right there. You bet. Right. I'll get your hat.
Yeah?
Truck rental company out on Pico. Guy came in Saturday and rented a 2-ton from him.
Yeah.
Said he'd be back in a couple hours.
Uh-huh.
They haven't seen him since. 8:24 a.m. We drove out to the address of the Coventry U-Drive truck service. The lot was on the corner of Pico Boulevard and Cambridge Street. Along the front of the place were several panel and pickup trucks, and in the back of the yard was one large stake truck. The office was in a small wooden building at the rear of the lot. We went in and talked to the manager, Mr. Stephen Cole.
Tried to check him this morning when the truck wasn't back. Once the landlady said she saw him come home with the truck set. She hasn't seen him since.
What's the man's name, Cole?
The name he used when he rented the truck was George Summers.
Did he have any identification?
Yeah, he had a driver's license. I got the number here on the slip. Oh, here it is. The California license. You got to have one to rent a truck.
Uh-huh.
He signed his name George R. Summers. Number on the license was W414626.
26, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a truck was it?
A new Ford. Just got it a couple weeks ago. Brand new.
What color was it?
Blue, light blue. Had the name Coventry painted on the side. Name's in the cream color.
What kind of a truck is it?
2-ton stake.
Was it possible that this Summers is just keeping it out longer than he said he would?
Possible, but isn't likely. Said when he came in, he wanted to haul a load of furniture. Said he just needed a couple of hours. That was Saturday morning. We haven't heard a word from him since. I got Red out looking for it now.
Who's Red?
Works for me.
Oh, I see.
When a truck is late getting back, we usually call first, then send one of our men out to check on it. Red drove over to see the Summers. He left about an hour ago. I haven't heard from him yet.
Oh, I see. Do you get a deposit on the truck?
Yeah, we do. Some of the places don't, but we get one. $20.
Does Summers pay cash?
No, he gave me a check. Haven't had a chance to deposit it yet. I'll call the bank later.
Uh-huh. Can you give us a description of the man?
Well, not very good. I was out in the yard when he came in. I didn't handle the deal myself. I got a look at him, but not good.
Would you know him again if you saw him?
Oh, it'd be hard to say. I couldn't be sure. The girl would, though. She wrote out the papers.
I wonder if we could talk to her.
Yeah, she'll be in at 9. You can talk to her then.
You got his address there? I'll see if I can check the name.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. 2462 New Jersey Street.
Okay. Can you give us some kind of a description on him?
Well, I told you I didn't get a good look at him. He's a small fella, blonde, maybe 25 or 26 around in there. That's about the best I can do. Excuse me a minute.
Yeah.
Coventry U-Drive. Yeah, how big? Oh, sure, we got one, yeah. Wait a minute, I'll check. Just a minute. Run you 210 the first hour, $1.25 an hour after that. Mm-hmm. No, there's gas in it when you get it, that's right. Oh, you pay for the gas. Well, there's a $20 deposit. That's right. Well, you get it back. California driver's license. Right. Cole. C-O-L-E. Okay, bye.
All right, if I use the phone there?
Oh, sure, help yourself.
Thanks. Pretty busy, you right?
Yes, sir. Once in a while we get kind of slow, but it seems like everybody's moving or something all the time. They're back around the truck.
Please. Yeah, 2626.
Got 3 other places, you know, around town.
Mm-hmm.
Hi there, it's Officer Frank Smith, 2633. Would you check the name George R. Summers, please? Well, he's described as WMA 2327. Slight build. And blonde. So blonde. Possible address is given as 2462.
What if we could see the check he left his deposit, Cole?
Sure, I got it clipped on the back of the slip. Yeah.
Sure, I'll hang on.
Here it is.
Uh-huh.
That truck is worth about $2,800 as it stands. You know?
Well, you carry insurance on it, don't you?
Oh, sure, it's covered, but that isn't the point. That guy that just called wants to rent a 2-ton stake. Only got 2 of them. Somebody else calls, I'm going to lose the rental. That's what grabs you. Probably turn out that deposit check isn't any good either. I'm out all the way around.
Mm-hmm. How about it, Frank?
Well, can't be sure. We've got a record on the George R. Summers. It might be it. Address is different, but out of 6 cards, it's the closest. Done time for possession.
What's he mean, possession? It's narcotics. Oh. Well, how about it? Do you want it now?
No, nothing on him.
You give us the license number of the truck?
Yeah, it's right here. I got the body motor serial number 2. Lousy phone. Here's a slip. You can copy the dope yourself.
Thank you.
Cover, you drive. Yeah. Is he there? Uh-huh. You tell me to get right down here. Yeah, you bring him. Right. Well, that's it.
Huh?
Call was from Red. He found Summers in his boarding house. Says he's been there since Saturday night.
How about the truck?
According to what he told Red, he left it out in front of the house Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
Came back, it was gone.
9:14 a.m. The owner of the truck rental service called the bank that the deposit check had been written on. He talked to the cashier and found that there was enough money in Summers' account to cover the check. We got a full description from Cole's secretary of the suspect. The check of the truck company records showed that he'd never rented a truck from them before. 9:46 a.m. Summers arrived at the office of the U-Drive company. We talked with him briefly and asked him to accompany us downtown. We got out a local and an APB on the stolen truck. We checked his fingerprints against the record card and got a positive identification. 10:37 a.m. We took him to the interrogation room.
You ever been arrested? You know the answer to that.
I'd like to have you tell us.
Yeah, I fell once, did my time. I'm clean, no parole. Want to tell us about this truck deal? Sure, I got nothing to lose. I didn't have anything to do with it.
All right, from the beginning.
I rented about noon on Saturday.
What are you going to use it for?
I had to help a friend of mine move some furniture.
Now, what's the friend's name?
Louise Jordan.
Where she live?
2487 Clifford Street.
She got a phone?
No. Hey, listen, I don't want you guys going around there and giving her a bad time. According to the landlady at your place, she saw you drive away from the rooming house in that truck Saturday afternoon. How about it? Yeah, how about it?
What do you got to say?
She's off her rocker. If she saw anybody 6'2" and even, it wasn't me.
Oh, the way we get it, she was pretty sure.
Well, you get it wrong.
According to the record, you were picked up for violation of the State Narcotics Act, is that right?
I don't write the record. If that's what it says, that's what I fell for.
Well, let me see your arm.
Why?
I want to see your arm. Roll up your sleeve. Come on.
Look, I don't like the way you guys are acting. You got nothing on me. If you got anything to say it and get it over with. You got nothing, let me get out of here.
Sit down, Summers. Come on. Find a roll up your sleeve. Let me see your arm.
Not going to prove anything. Roll it up.
Yeah. Looks like you've been riding kind of high.
It's not as bad as it looks.
A lot of scar tissue.
That's from before.
They look fresh. When's the last time you had a pop?
A long, long time ago.
How long?
I don't remember.
You holding now?
No.
You got a habit?
No. Nothing rough. A joy pop once in a while.
You must think you're playing with kids, Summers. Why don't you stop conning us? You look like you're hooked and you know it.
You're as bad as my landlady.
Frank?
Yeah.
You want to get in touch with narcotics? See if Roxy can come over.
Sure, right away. What's the deal on calling him over?
Why don't you have him look at your arm, see what he thinks?
He'll tell you. It's like I said.
Well, there's one sure way to find out.
What's that?
Drop you in a cell and wait. If you haven't got a habit, you won't mind. We're going to hold you anyway.
For what?
Story about the truck's got too many holes in it.
Well, what do you mean? It's true the way I told you. That's the way it happened. You don't believe anything, do you?
Yeah, the truth when we hear it.
I'm giving you that. You aren't buying it.
Maybe it's the way you're trying to sell it. You want to tell us what really happened to that truck?
I told you. I parked it out in front of my house. When I came back, it was gone. Isn't anything more.
Well, if you were home, how come your landlady says she didn't see you from Saturday afternoon on?
I came in the back way. For once, the old bat was looking the other way.
You mean you stayed in your room all that time?
Yeah, that's what I said.
What do you do for a living?
You mean, do I work?
That's right.
No.
You don't work, huh?
No, I had a job, but I lost
When?
it. Friday.
What'd you do?
I was a pro diver.
Where'd you wash dishes?
Place down on 6th.
Why'd you get fired?
Boss and I had a beef.
What about?
He got hacked because I came in late.
Roxy's on his way over, John.
It's Roxy? That, Roxy Lucarelli?
Yeah, do you know him?
Yeah, I ran into him before. Nice guy, treated me right.
He's the one that nailed you?
He's one of them.
I know these joy pops you've had. Where do you get the stuff?
Around.
Where around?
Here and there.
Why don't you come off it, Summers? You might think you're playing it cozy, but you're laying a big bomb here. The story you're trying to peddle us is phony all the way through. We know it, and so do you. Now, why don't you level on it? Make it a lot easier.
I'd like to, Cop. Really, I would. There's just one big problem.
Yeah.
You're off base. You know it. You haven't got anything on me. I rented a truck. It was stolen. I'm the one that reported it. I didn't try to get away. I'm telling you all I know. You're leaning all over me because I fell once. You guys just can't stand to see anyone carry a lunch bucket for long. You got to try to make up for something, even if you have to build it yourself. But you made a big mistake this time, Cop. You haven't got anything on me that you can stick. All I got to do now is keep my mouth shut and you're up an alley. And that's what I'm going to do. You're not going to get another word out of me.
All right, now tell us again about the truck. Come on. What time did you find out it was gone?
You can tell us that.
Did you leave the keys in the truck when you parked it? All right, mister, you're playing it smart. Let's see how long you can make it last. We'll see how it is after you've been sitting in the cell for a few hours. We'll try it again then, huh?
I'm going to take my time.
You do that. We got a lot of it. Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli came over from the narcotics division to talk to the suspect. Summers would say nothing. The marks on Summers' arm were fresh, and indications were that he was a narcotics user. Summers was booked at the main jail on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony. Frank and I, along with Sergeant Lucarelli, went over to the suspect's rooming house. A thorough search of the place netted us nothing. We talked with the landlady, and she gave us the same story she'd given the owner of the U-Drive truck service. She said that it was possible for Summers to come in through the back of the house and get to his room without being noticed. But she told us that there'd been several phone calls for him on Sunday, and that when she'd knocked on his door, there'd been no answer. 5:30 p.m. We checked back into the office and found that there'd been no replies to the broadcast we'd gotten out on the truck. We ran Louise Jordan, Summers' girlfriend, through R&I, but we found no record on anyone answering her description. We drove out and talked to her, and she verified the suspect's story about moving the furniture. A meeting with the district attorney's office decided that there was not enough evidence to bring Summers to court on the narcotics charge and not enough to issue an indictment for the theft of the truck. He was released from custody. In the next 3 weeks, we got reports of 4 more trucks being stolen. The M.O. was the same as with the Coventry U-Drive theft. In each instance, the persons involved were checked out, but the leads we came up with led us nowhere. Additional M.O. bulletins were gotten out warning all operators of U-Drive agencies to be on the lookout for a thief or thieves unknown. Another 2 weeks passed. The thefts continued, but the thieves had switched their method of operation. They were now stealing privately owned automobiles from parking lots and in front of homes. Thursday, June 4th, Frank and I checked into the office. I got it. Hold up that Friday. Yeah, please, put it through. It's Al Gaten from San Diego. Yeah? Yeah, hi, Al. Uh-huh. When? Yeah. Will anybody near it? How about papers? Yeah, no, we'll be right down. Yeah, okay. What? Uh-huh. I've been keeping up. Right. Well, maybe it is. No, we'll leave here right away. We'll see in about, let's see, it's 10:20 now. About 3 hours? About how long it'll take us, huh? Yeah, bye. Bye, Al. Well, he says that truck from Coventry U-Drive has been found. Where? Just outside Rosarito Beach in Mexico. Yeah. Found new registration papers and something else under the seat. Huh? 12 bundles of heroin.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action. Chesterfield is best for you. Listen to Chesterfield's record. For a full year and 2 months, a doctor has been making regular examinations of a group of Chesterfield smokers, and he reports no adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfields. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality in both regular and king size. Chesterfield. First choice with Young America. And that's from a survey of 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Remember, Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy.
A.m. We talked with Captain Nelson about the latest developments in the case, and he instructed us to leave for San Diego. When we arrived at San Diego, we checked with their auto theft detail and with Sergeant Al Gaten. He went with us to the border. We talked with the authorities at the border, but they could give us little information. They said that they'd received the bulletins we'd sent out, but that they hadn't seen the stolen vehicles. We checked with the authorities at Tijuana, and with them, we drove to the location where the truck had been found. A thorough search of the area was started, but we turned up nothing. None of the people in the immediate vicinity could tell us anything about the truck. From the registration slip, we got the name of the owner. The license plates were issued by the state of California, but a check showed that they'd been taken from a wrecked car. The narcotics found in the cab of the truck were turned over to the Mexican police. The next morning, Frank and I left for Los Angeles. While we'd been gone, officers Bill Donovan and Jack Pilkington, along with Sergeant Al Mansell, had been following up the leads in the Los Angeles area. They hadn't come up with anything new. The car thefts continued. State police units along the road to the Mexican border were alerted, but the cars continued to disappear. 2 weeks went by. Tuesday, June 23rd, Frank and I came back from a meeting with members of the National Auto Theft Bureau. Want to check the book?
Yeah, I'll get it.
Well, these thefts are sure dropping our recovery record, aren't they?
Yeah.
Talked to Skipper this morning. The insurance companies are raising the roof.
I figures it's costing them a lot.
There's a message here from Judge Shelton. Wants us to call him.
Sheriff's Department?
Yeah. Marked important.
You want to get it?
Yeah, I'll get it. Narcotics, please. Yeah, Judge Shelton there? Yeah, thanks. He's there. Hey, Judge, is Frank Smith over at Autotech? Yeah. Oh? Well, why do you think that's it? Yeah. When are you going to meet her? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll be right over. Right, goodbye.
Anything?
Yeah, Judge got a call this morning from a girl. Says she's been invited down to Mexico.
Yeah.
Says two of them are going down to pick up some heroin.
Yeah. Where do we fit in?
Girl told Judge they'd be driving a stolen car.
We went over to the Hall of Justice and talked with Sergeant Judge Shelton. He told us about the call he'd received. He said that he was supposed to meet the girl at 3:30 that afternoon, and he wanted to know if we wanted to accompany him. We told him we did, and at 3:15 p.m., the three of us walked into a bar on West 7th. We waited for the girl to arrive. 3:46.
Here she comes.
The blonde?
Yeah.
Hi, Jed.
Sir, I'd like you to meet a couple of friends of mine. Perry Collins, Frank Smith, Joe Friday.
How do you do,
How
Perry?
do?
Sit down, Barry.
Thanks.
Can I get you anything? Sandwich, cup of coffee?
No. I could use an old-fashioned, though. Tell him to give you a big piece of orange.
Okay, I'll get it. Excuse me.
Sure. You two guys cops?
Yes, ma'am. That's right.
Where do you work out of?
Central Auto Theft.
Well, that's why Jed called you, huh?
Pardon?
About the hot car we're driving south.
Yes, ma'am.
My name's Vera. Why don't you use that?
All right, Vera. You know where the stolen car is, the one they're going to drive down?
Not now. I will, though.
What do you mean?
I don't think it's been stolen yet.
What?
Well, I don't think the car's been stolen yet.
Well, do you know when it's going to be taken?
Sometime this afternoon. We're supposed to leave tonight.
You know who's going to take it?
Just a friend of mine. A fellow named Harry Sloan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's your old-fashioned drink.
Oh, thanks, Jed.
You know how this operation's going to work, Vera?
No. All I know is I got a call from Harry this morning. He asked me what I was doing. I told him nothing, so he asked me if I wanted to take a drive down to Mexico. I told him I would, and he said he'd pick me up.
He's going to pick you up at your house?
No. No, he said he'd call me and let me know where to meet him.
Well, where's he going to call you?
My place in about an hour.
What did he say it makes you think the car's going to be stolen?
Just the way he talks. Can't say anything real definite, just the way he talked.
You work alone?
No, there's another guy with him. I don't know who it is.
What did he say to you about the narcotics?
Just said that he was planning to pick up some H down there. Didn't say where.
He give us a description of this Harry, where he lives?
Yeah, I can give you that.
Got a record, do you know?
Never talked about it. I think maybe he's been picked up a couple of times, but I don't think he served time.
You said on the phone you had an idea how we could take him.
Yeah. You see, I'll have to drive my car to meet them. As soon as I get a call from Harry, I'll get in touch with you and tell you where the meet's going to be. I'll park my car and leave the license number of the stolen car in it.
Where?
In the back seat.
Judd, wouldn't it be a lot easier if we just kept her under surveillance?
Might be better for you, but it wouldn't for me. Harry found out I'd been playing footsie with you guys. He'd kill me sure. This is a big operation. Isn't just Harry in on it.
What do you mean?
All those cars that have been stolen lately, the trucks, it's all part of the deal. Same bunch is doing it.
Oh, you mean it's an organized ring?
Sure. They got it all laid out from here to Ensenada. All the way it's planned.
You know who the top man is?
No. I never heard the name. Harry never used it.
They take all the trucks down to Mexico, do they?
From what I understand, most of them end up down there.
You got any idea how they do it?
No.
What do you want out of this?
What?
Well, where are you going to come out, Vera? Why are you telling us all this?
Judd gave me a break once. This is my way to pay him back. Harry doesn't mean anything to me. I don't care if you get him.
Well, I still think we got to keep you under surveillance. Be safer for you, Vera.
Don't worry about it. I'll let you know right where I'm going to park my car. You find that, and I'll see that the other information's there. I better get going now.
Well, just a minute. You want to give us a description of Sloan?
Sure, I can tell you what Harry looks like. Well, what are you going to do, check up on him?
We'd like to know who we're after.
I don't think you'll find anything. I'll be pretty surprised if you do.
Not as surprised as he'll be. got the description of Harry Sloan and called the office to check the name. There was no record of anyone answering his description. Vera Collins was unable to tell us anything about the second man in the operation. She went back to her home and waited for the phone call from Sloan. We returned to the office and waited for her to contact us with the information about the stolen car. At 5:15 p.m., we got a call from her saying that her car would be parked somewhere within a 16-block area. From Washington Boulevard to the north, Adams Boulevard to the south, from Crenshaw Boulevard to the west, and Arlington Avenue to the east. Frank, Judge Shelton, and I drove out to the area and began to cruise the vicinity. We spent the next hour looking for the car. When we were sure that it was not in the designated area, we began to expand our search. At 6:37 p.m., we found the car parked on a small side street near St. Charles Place, 12 blocks outside the designated area. We searched the car and found a slip of paper in the back seat. It said, Chevrolet sedan, blue color, 1C 33272. We'll try to stall Harry on way to Tijuana. It was signed Vera. We got out a local and an APB with special attention to the Border Patrol on the car, asking that if it was found abandoned, to place a stakeout on it and to notify us immediately. It was 7:02 p.m. when we started to drive to the Mexican border. We kept in constant radio contact with Sergeant Al Gayton at the border, and he told us that the suspect's car had not crossed over yet. 10:37 p.m. We drove through National City and took the road to Tijuana. Just south of Chula Vista, we picked up a car that matched the description of the stolen vehicle.
How about it, Joe?
Yeah, it matches. Frank, can you get a little closer?
Yeah, I think so.
Different license plate, Judge.
Probably switched to cold plate. That's why they haven't been spotted before. You see him yet?
Yeah, it's the Collins woman, all right.
Want to take him now?
Yeah. I'll get the sign.
Doesn't look like they're going to stop.
I'll make a try for the tires, Frank.
Wait a minute, Joe. Yeah, road's clear ahead. All right. They're slowing down.
Yeah, they're pulling over. All right, get your hands on that wheel where I can see them.
I'll cover the other side.
Right. Come on. Right. All right, get out of the car.
What are you trying to prove with all this shooting?
Come on, mister, get out of the car.
Come on, you two, get out.
I don't know what you're trying to prove. We haven't done anything.
Come on, let's don't argue.
All right, mister, over to the car.
I'll take him, Joe. You're going to be sorry about this. You got no right to stop us.
Stand still. Yeah, he's clean. Turn around. You're George Summers, aren't you?
Yeah.
We picked you up for that stolen truck about 6 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, you had to let me go. You're going to do the same this time. You got nothing to hold me
No,
on.
you're wrong there, Summers. Where'd you get this car?
I borrowed it.
From who?
A friend of
He
mine.
knows you took it, huh?
Certainly, he told me to.
This car's stolen, and you know it. We know all about the operation, the whole deal. You going to stay on the rap alone, or you going to tell us who the big gun is?
What do you mean, operation?
This isn't the first car you've shoved across the border. We know about the narcotics, too. You're in this all the way. And you've got a choice. You can take it alone, or you can go along with us and nail the big guy. It's up to you.
Wouldn't do any good if I told you who he was. I can't prove anything on him, neither can you. You'll never get him, never.
Is that right?
Sure, he told me so. Cops will never get me. Those are his words. That's what he said.
Well, that's not new.
Huh?
You said the same thing.
The story you have just heard is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. On November 19th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. And now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Friends, all of us on Dragnet are proud to be associated with Chesterfield because, believe me, Chesterfield is years ahead of them all. You just can't beat a cigarette that was good to begin with and keeps getting better all the time. But, of course, you can't find out how much you'll like them until you try them. That's what we'd like you to do. Try a couple of packs of milder Chesterfield, regular or king size. I know you'll agree that Chesterfield is best for you.
George Richard Summers and Harry Alden Sloan were tried and convicted of grand theft auto, 1 count. They received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for not less than 1, nor more than 10 years. Next week, The Big Gun, Part 2.
just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Jack Crucian, Herb Ellis. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking. For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis Show, Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles. Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are. Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.
Tonight, it's Adventure with Barry Craig on NBC.
Sound off for Chesterfield. Chesterfield, first with premium quality and best for you. Chesterfield brings you Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to auto theft detail. You arrested one member of an organized ring of thieves. You're after the head man of the gang. Your job? Get him. Here is Chesterfield's record with smokers, and important to you.
No adverse effects to the nose, throat, and sinuses from smoking Chesterfield.
That's the report of a doctor who has been examining a group of Chesterfield smokers for a full year and 2 months. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this? Chesterfield. First with premium quality. Chesterfield. First choice of young America. And that's from a survey made in 274 colleges and universities. Try Chesterfields today. Chesterfield. Regular or king size. They're much milder and best for you.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, June 24th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of auto theft detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Thad Brown, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. We were at the main jail, and it was 8:14 a.m. when we got to the second floor. The interview room.
Sit down, Sloan.
Yeah. Right there.
You guys start pretty early in the morning, don't you?
Yeah, once in a while.
You got a cigarette?
Yeah, there you are.
Thanks. I never feel like I'm alive until I've had a cigarette in the morning. How about a match?
Here.
There's nothing like it, that first cigarette. All right, what's this all about?
You know that as well as we do. A few questions we want to ask.
All right, go ahead, ask.
What's your part in the setup?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it won't work, Sloan. We got the whole story from Summers.
Well, then what do you need from me?
Just like to check out a few things.
What do you mean you got the whole story from Summers? What did he say?
Told us everything he knows about the setup. From what he says, you're the key man. Everything goes through you.
He said that?
Yeah.
You believe him?
Got no reason not to. That's why we're here. Get your side of the story.
How much he tell you?
Said everything he knows.
Yeah, that figures. You get a guy with a yen like that, and as soon as the roof starts to drop, they spill their insides out. That's the trouble with doing business with hypes. You always run into it.
Yeah, well, let's hear your side, huh?
Sure. I knew going in if you locked Summers up, he'd break. Just a matter of time before he started seeing things and talked all over the place.
Why don't you do a little of the same?
I got no choice. Where do you want me to start?
How about the beginning?
As good a place as any, I guess.
All right, who's the big gun in the setup?
Now, you're not going to believe
Well,
this.
why don't you try us?
I don't know who he is. I haven't got the slightest idea, and that's the truth.
You're asking us to buy the fact you work for a guy you don't know.
I don't care if you buy it or not. That's the way it is. I don't know who the big man is.
How'd he get your orders?
He calls me.
Where?
My place.
When?
When I got something for him.
How does he know?
We got a set time each day. He calls in. He tells me what he wants done. I tell him what's going on.
What happens if you want to talk to him when it's not the time?
Nothing. I got to wait.
How do you get paid?
He calls me and tells me where to go. I show up there, and the door's waiting.
All right, now you start at the beginning. Give us the whole story.
All right, I got in town about 6 months ago.
Where from?
Outside of Chicago.
All right.
I laid around town for a few days, and I get this rumble that maybe I can pick up a job.
Where'd you hear it?
Oh, just around. I couldn't tell you where it was. A word here, another one there. Just around.
All right, go ahead.
Well, I'm home one day, and the phone rings. I answer it, and the guy asked me if I wanted to go to work for him. I'm on my uppers, so I asked him what he wanted me to do, and he springs this car heist thing on me. I told him I wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
He kept on talking, kept telling me how it was such a sweet, clean racket, how we could work it without being tagged. Finally, I told him I might be willing to sit down and talk to him about it.
Mm-hmm.
He says no go. Said he didn't want anybody to know who he was, and that went from me, too. He told me he'd swing the operation on me.
What do you mean, swinger?
Well, he said he'd tell me how to set it up, how to make it work, who to contact. Said he had the organization already, but he needed a man to take charge of the L.A. part of it. He told me that I was the guy he wanted.
Well, Slum, how did he happen to come to you?
I don't know. I did time when I was a kid for Grand Theft Auto. First time, I got off light.
Where'd you do the time?
New York State.
All right, go on.
Well, maybe he got a rumble about that. He knew that I was down. Maybe he figured that I was the guy to handle it for him. I don't know why. He just called.
Did you have any idea who this man on the phone was?
No. I thought about it a lot. I tried to come up with an answer, but there just wasn't any. At least none that I could find.
Might have been somebody you met back east.
I don't know. Could be. I got no way of knowing. The way the deal worked out, I didn't have any reason to get nosy. This guy really had it figured out like a charm. I still don't know how you tagged us. How about it? You tell me?
You know better than.
Yeah, I suppose so.
All right, go ahead. What happened after you talked to this guy?
Well, I wasn't real anxious right off. I told him I'd have to think about it, you see.
Yeah.
Next day, he calls again. Told me he wanted to tell me the deal, lay it out for me. If I thought it was good, I could go along with it. Otherwise, we could call it quits. I was just about to get bounced out of my room, so I listened. We must have talked for about an hour.
Yeah?
That's when he laid it out for me. The way it looked, the plan couldn't miss. Wasn't anything he hadn't thought of all along the line. He had the leaks all plugged up tight, you see.
All right. How'd this deal work?
I thought Summers gave you the lineup.
Yeah, he did, but we'd like to hear it from you,
You
all
sure
right?
you ain't trying to con me into something?
You said it yourself. You got no choice now, have you?
Well, the way it worked was smooth, real smooth. The boss, that's what I called him, he'd call me, tell me what kind of car he wanted. I'd get in touch with one of the boys and pass the order on, you see.
Yeah.
Hype would steal the car, call me.
Who?
Some hype would steal the car and call me right away, tell me where he had the car. Then the boss would call and I'd tell him. He'd drive by, look at the car. If he okayed it, he'd call me and I'd tell the fellow that stole it to get it rolling.
They drive it to Mexico, huh?
Yeah. First off, I'd meet him, give him enough money to get back here, though. And after that, they'd switch the plates in the car and then shove out.
Where'd you get the plates?
Oh, the boss would get them someplace. Then they'd be delivered to me. Always cold plates. I think he probably got them off of used car lots. I don't know, but that's the way it looked like to me. You see?
Yeah. What happened then?
Well, the guy drive the car straight through. He delivered the car to a contact down in Tijuana.
What about the payoff from Mexico? How'd they work that?
Well, that went through me, too. I'd get a call from the boss. He'd tell me where the meat was. I'd show up and pick up a paper bag with the narcotics.
That the way the stolen cars were paid for? Narcotics?
Yeah. Heroin was the best, so by the time we cut it down, it went a long way.
What'd you do with the stuff?
Well, some of it I'd use for paying off the hype that lifted the car, and the rest went on to the boss.
How'd you get it to him?
He'd call me, tell me where to leave it. Maybe an alley downtown, a telephone pole on Central. Once in a fountain right in front of City Hall. Every time it was a different place.
Yeah. Is it possible any of the others might know who he is?
I talked to him. None of them know. I don't think they're holding out.
Yeah. This boss, he ever say anything that could let you know where he was calling from?
No.
How about his voice? You get anything from that?
What do you mean?
You have an accent, something like that?
No, nothing. He talked just like you and me. There's one thing, though.
What's that?
He's been around. He knows the tricks. He knows about me, everything I've ever done. The way he talks, you know he knows all the rackets.
Mm-hmm. He ever sent you anything through the mail?
Oh, what do you mean, like with the postman?
That's right.
No. A couple of times he sent me a batch of plates to use on the cars, but they come by messenger.
One of the companies here?
No, just a guy. I asked them who sent them, but they couldn't tell me.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I ain't sure, but I really don't think they knew. It's always a different guy each time. Never the same one twice.
You got some of the plates around?
No, we used the last one on the car last night.
When does the boss usually send them to you?
Depends how many cars we've taken. He keeps track. When we're out of cold plates, another batch of them shows up. It depends on the cars, you see.
How about the other men working with you? The ones here in town? You give us a list of them?
If I do, it makes me a pretty big fink.
If you don't, it's going to make you big trouble.
I suppose so. There's nothing you guys can promise me for this, huh?
You know the answer to that, too. We can see that the district attorney's office knows about the help you gave us. That's all we can do.
That's better than nothing. Okay, I'll give you the name.
Now, when this goes to trial, we can figure you'll be a witness for the state.
Against who?
Well, this boss, whoever he is.
Sure, if you can get him. I don't think you will, though.
Is that right?
Sure, it stands to reason. I worked for the guy and never got to see him. He ain't going to want to see the police.
Well, he's a little like you, isn't he?
Huh?
He's got no choice. We got the list of names from the suspect, and then we checked with Captain Carl Shy, Narcotics Division. He assigned 2 men to work with us on the case. We got in touch with the Sheriff's Department and filled Sergeant Judge Shelton in on the developments. A call was put into Al Gayton at San Diego, and he said that he'd get in touch with the Mexican authorities and line up the cooperation we needed from them. The name of the contact in Tijuana was given to them, but they were unable to locate the suspect. We asked the Stats Office to make a new run on the M.O. of the auto thefts in an attempt to come up with a new lead on the head of the ring of thieves. They turned up 6 leads that were checked out. They netted us nothing. We got in touch with the State Highway Patrol, and we worked out a system to intercept any cars that might be stolen in the future by the same gang. The plan was that in the event we received a call regarding a stolen vehicle, we'd put it on the air with the heading of the code word Alex. This would alert all police officers between Los Angeles and the Mexican border. The men named for us by the suspect Harry Sloan were all taken into custody. Further interrogation netted us no new information. In the meantime, the leader of the gang had apparently succeeded in setting up a new group of thieves and was operating again. The thefts continued through the next month. During that time, all precautions were taken to keep the stolen cars from getting to the border, but the speed with which the gang operated made apprehending them almost impossible. The radio operation with patrol units along the highway was tried, but by the time the cars were reported stolen to us and we were able to get a broadcast out on them, they were already across the border. Thursday, July 30th, Frank and I checked into the office.
I'll check the book.
Right. Anything?
No, it's a call here from Faye, that's all.
Well, Skipper sure hacked about this thing, huh? Can you blame him?
No, I suppose not. He's got a lot of people leaning on him. I don't know, Joe. It's about time the brakes start falling on our side.
Well, we've been saying that for a long time, too. Doesn't seem to do much good. Even when we do nail the big gun, we're going to have to prove it, and that isn't going to be easy.
Yeah. The way he's got it worked out, it's going to be awful tough to build a case that'll stick.
Well, he doesn't handle the narcotics. He doesn't handle the money. All he does is okay the jobs.
Yeah, but there's got to be an outlet for the heroin. Well, where's he getting rid of it?
That's a good question. You know, we've been trying to come up with the answer a long time. No rumbles, informants don't know anything. I get it. Auto theft Friday. Yes, ma'am. Well, maybe we can help you. Yes, ma'am, Well, yes. Well, could we meet you? Oh, no, ma'am. You won't be involved. Yeah, well, what's that address again? Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We'll be there. Oh, in about 10 minutes? What's that? No, ma'am. Just my partner. Yes, that's right. All right. See you then. Right. Goodbye. Well, maybe this is a break.
Who was it?
Woman. She wouldn't give us her name. She said that wasn't important. She wants us to meet her.
What about?
Something to do with used cars. 10:10 a.m. Frank and I left the office and drove to Hollywood to meet the woman who'd called in. She said that she wanted to meet us in one of the coffee shops along Vine Street. We drove out the new freeway to Hollywood Boulevard and then down to Vine Street. We parked the car and walked up to the coffee shop. The girl on the phone had refused to give us her name, so Frank and I had no way of knowing who she might be. She told me to take a booth at the back of the restaurant and that she'd find us. Frank and I sat down and ordered a cup of coffee, and we waited. There was no sign of the caller. 11 a.m. She still hadn't shown up. We were about ready to leave when a tall woman, well-dressed, in her middle 30s, came in. She stopped at the door, looked around the place, and then she headed for our booth.
Joe.
Yeah, it might be. No, she's heading for the next booth.
Are you from the police?
What?
Are you a policeman?
No, why?
Never mind. Are you from the cops?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm the one who called you and told you to meet me here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Joe Friday. This is my partner, Frank Smith.
You got some way to prove it?
Ma'am?
Prove that you're cops. I don't want to talk to nobody who ain't cops.
Yes, ma'am. Here's my ID card.
Oh, yeah. That's you, all right.
Yes, ma'am.
How about you?
Yes, ma'am. Here's mine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, say, that's a real nice picture. You put on some weight, haven't you?
Would you like to sit down, ma'am? We can get started on this.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now, what was your name?
You don't need that. It doesn't make any difference.
All right. We order you something, maybe?
Yeah, I'd like a Coke.
All right.
I'll get it, Joe.
You make sure it's a real Coke, though. Genuine.
All right, ma'am.
I'm sorry I'm late. I got tied up.
That's all right, ma'am. I wonder if we can get started.
Well, I was across the street, waiting by the radio station.
Yes, ma'am.
Waiting for that singer. What's his name? You know who I mean. The cute one with the curly hair. Oh, I never can think of his name.
Anyway, I was waiting for him to come out. He's doing a show over there, you know. He's a wonderful voice, and he's so cute.
Now, what's this all about, this thing you want to tell us?
Crazy kids and their autograph books. I couldn't even get near him. Miserable.
I wonder if we could get down to business here, ma'am. You said on the phone that you could give us some information?
Yeah, I think I can help you out. It seems to me that you might want to talk to this man.
What's his name?
Well, maybe I ought to tell you about him first, and then if you want to know his name, I can tell you that.
All right, ma'am. Go ahead.
Here's a Coke, ma'am.
Oh, thanks. That's good. Cold.
Do you want to go on?
On?
Yes, ma'am. About the man?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's this fella, and he's got an office in the building where I work.
Where would that be?
A corner of Hollywood and Dick Street. Right on the corner. 9th floor. Elevator's always out of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, he's got this office, and I see him a lot. You know, at the elevator? Maybe down at the magazine rack in the lobby. Anyway, I see him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about a week ago, he asked me for a date. Just like that. Came up to me while I was looking at TV Stars Parade. That's a magazine.
Uh-huh.
All about television stars. Where they work, what they're like. All interesting things like that. Like, do they like garlic and what kind of knot do they use in their ties? All interesting things like that.
So this man asked you for a date, huh?
Came up just like brass and asked me out. Well, first off, I was kind of flattered. You know, he's pretty nice. Drives a nice car and all, but I told him I couldn't go out with him. And then I told him that I thought he should be ashamed of himself. I told him he should be ashamed of himself.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. See, I knew he was married. Nice little wife, real cute. I saw her a couple of times around the building. Lately, she hasn't done too well. She's real cute. Imagine him asking me out and him a married man.
Well, yes, ma'am, but why do you think that the police might be interested in him?
I'm coming to that. That was good. Well, I kind of checked around, you know, to see what this guy did and what business he was in.
Yes, ma'am.
He's in the used car business, sells old cars.
I see.
That's it. Sells used cars in an office building. Not even a lot. Nothing. There's a glass door.
Is there any lettering on it?
Yeah, I thought about that, too, but there isn't. No, that's all he's got. Just this little tiny office desk and a couple of chairs. Glass door.
Well, ma'am, there's nothing illegal in that, you know.
Oh, yeah, but he doesn't have a license. No, sir, he doesn't have a license.
Beg pardon?
I work for a lawyer. Alphabetical filing, G to O. I asked my boss if you didn't have to have some kind of license to sell cars, and my boss says you do. This man doesn't have one. Goes out and buys these old cars and then fixes them up and sells them, and he doesn't have a license. Well, not only that, the men he sells the cars to. Oh.
Why do you say that?
Oh, because I do, that's why. Always come in the office, and they sit there and talk, and then they leave. I get in the hall sometimes, and they laugh, and they're real spooky guys, real spooky.
Well, what's the matter, ma'am?
Man that just came in. The one with the kind of blonde hair, you see him?
Yes, ma'am. What about him?
Isn't that... Oh, what's his name? I know it as well as I know my own. He stars in all those space things, you know, like the Saturn Saga and the Martian Maniac that was on last week, and this fella, that one that just came in. Well, he had on this kind of suit all covered with lights, a space suit. He was so cute.
Yes, ma'am. Well, if you'll tell us the name of the man in your building, we'll check on him.
Oh, there's more to the story.
Ma'am?
There's more. I'm not finished.
All right, would you like to sit down and go on?
Oh, yeah. Well, day before yesterday, I'm standing by the elevator, and one of this man's customers come out of the office. He walked over to the elevator.
Mm-hmm.
He reached into his pocket and took out a cigarette, kept the pack up here in the pocket up here. You know, here, with the handkerchief.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, when he pulled the pack out, he dropped a little package. Fell right on the floor, and he didn't see it. Right away, he got into the elevator and went down, and I went over and picked it up. Little tiny thing. Got it right here in my purse. I was going to give it to the man, and then I thought maybe I better come to you. I saw a picture of a thing like this in the newspaper once. Here it is. Well, you just look at that. There, you see?
Yes, ma'am. What is it, Joe? Harold. 11:40 a.m. We continued to talk to the woman. She gave us the name of the man who ran the used car agency in her building, Ralph Holland. She also gave us a description of him and a description of the man she'd seen drop the narcotics. We went back to the office and checked the name through R&I. Holland had a record listing one arrest on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotic Act. The date of the arrest was August 17th, 1937. He'd been released for lack of evidence. We checked the name in the phone book and came up with a business and a residence address. He lived with his wife in a large tract out in the San Fernando Valley. 1:15 p.m. Frank and I drove out to talk with Holland's neighbors. They told us that the family was known and respected throughout the area. None of them could recount any actions that might cause suspicion. They told us the Hollands had lived in the house for the past 5 years, but that Mrs. Holland had said that the family was planning to move into town. From the neighbors, we found out that Mrs. Holland was a semi-invalid and rarely left the house. We called the office and arranged for a stakeout on the house, and then we drove back into Hollywood to talk with Holland's business associate. From them, we got the same story. Ralph Holland was a respected member of the community and was a member of several civic clubs. None of his friends could tell us much about his business activities. We did learn, however, that many of his friends couldn't figure how the family could live at the scale that they did. They said that Holland had a good business, but they couldn't see how he could afford the new cars that he drove or the new house he was planning to move into. 5:46 p.m., we checked back into the office and talked with Captain Nelson. Well, it should take us a couple of days to get the information back from the banks.
Yeah. In the meantime, we got a lot of walking to do.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
Well, Skipper said we could have all the help we needed.
You get in touch with narcotics?
Yeah, I called them this morning. They'll give us a hand.
Yeah, rough duty, isn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, we figured the guy's guilty, looks good for it. Now the big job.
Yeah.
Got to prove it.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
Years ahead of them all. Chesterfield is years ahead of all cigarettes. Chesterfield quality is highest. Here's the proof. Recent chemical analyses give an index of good quality for the country's 6 leading cigarette brands. The index of good quality table, which is a ratio of high sugar to low nicotine, shows Chesterfield quality highest.
Chesterfield quality highest.
15% higher than its nearest competitor.
Chesterfield quality highest.
31% higher than the average of the 5 other leading brands. Don't you want to try a cigarette with a record like this?
Chesterfield, first with premium quality and best for you.
Try Chesterfield today, regular or king size.
Friday, July 31st, the legwork started. 2 teams of men were assigned from auto theft detail to help us, and narcotics sent 2 more teams to work with us. For the next 3 weeks, Ralph Holland was kept under 24-hour surveillance. A stakeout was maintained on his house and on his office. His business records were checked. From these, we came up with an estimate of what the suspect's income was. Then we began to check his expenditures. As a result, we found that he had control of at least $250,000 that his business could not account for. Everyone who visited the Hollands, either at their home or at his office, was checked on. Among his visitors, we found several known narcotic dealers. The auto thefts continued, but by now the code system had begun to work. From July 31st to August 25th, 16 cars were stolen that we attributed to Holland's operation. All of them were recovered between Los Angeles and the Mexican border. All of the drivers of the cars were taken into custody, but none of them could give us any information to aid us in obtaining a conviction. During that time, Holland didn't make any attempt to handle any narcotics. A dictograph had been placed in his office, and all of his conversations were monitored, but nothing incriminating was said. We got the address of the new home the suspect had bought, and a complete set of listening equipment was installed there. From the time the couple moved into the house, their conversations were monitored 24 hours a day. The recordings were played for Captain Nelson, Captain Shy of Narcotics Division, and for the men from the district attorney's office. They agreed that there wasn't enough evidence to issue an indictment. Friday, August 28th, Frank and I checked into the listening post. Well, you might as well sit down, Frank. We got a long night.
Going to be better with a speaker.
What?
Fellas downtown putting a speaker, see? Earphones get too heavy.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking to Guy Anderson. He was out here. Said by the time you sit with those things on your head for a couple of hours, feels like somebody shot your ears full of Novocaine.
Yeah.
Speaker's better.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Easier, too.
Well, better turn it on.
Yeah.
Holland come home yet?
Just walked in before we got here.
Here they come.
Yeah. How about a drink? I'll have one with you. Oh, I'll fix it.
Sounds like they're in the living room, huh?
Yeah.
You want to take a trip with me?
Where to?
Oh, I thought maybe we'd drive down south.
Yeah, I figured I'd go to Mexico.
Oh, I got it, honey. And anybody else could say it. Things been rough lately. Been picking the boys up as fast as I can find them.
Why did you call it quits? You've made enough.
Just about to do that, honey. That's the last trip.
I'm glad of that. Honey, I don't like it. Maybe I'm just getting jittery, but I swear there have been men watching the house.
Here. Thank you, Jim. Oh, you're just getting jumpy, honey. There isn't anybody watching and anybody who knows about us.
Well, I'm glad you think that. I'm not too sure anymore.
There's nothing to worry about. We're clean. This is the last trip. After that, we call it quits, okay?
I'll be glad when it's over.
You go with me. That'll be good for you. Get out of the house, see the country. Get you over this case of nerves you got.
morning at 6:30 a.m., Frank and I, along with the men from Narcotics Division, were parked down the street from the Holland home. At 8:36 a.m., we saw the couple come out of the house and get into Ralph Holland's car. They drove out to Sepulveda Boulevard and they turned south. All units of the state police had been notified to watch for the car. Members of the sheriff's department were stationed along the road just outside Del Mar. If we could take Holland into custody while he was in the possession of a stolen car and confront him with the stories of the two suspects we picked up earlier, George Summers and Harry Sloan, we felt that there was a good chance that he might confess. In any event, we'd be able to bring him to trial on a grand theft auto charge. The meet was made with the man who'd stolen the car as scheduled, and Holland started to drive south to the border. Men from the sheriff's department took the thief into custody, and we followed Holland. About 4 minutes later, he pulled the car over to the side of the road in front of a small coffee stand. He and his wife got out of the car, and they went into the place. We drove by, and then we doubled back and parked about 100 yards up the road from the stand. All right, let's go. The boy should be around back by now.
Yeah.
All right, come on. Down at the end of the counter.
Yeah.
You Ralph Holland?
Yes, what do you want?
You driving that green Buick out there?
Yeah, so what?
Wonder if we can see the registration papers on the car.
What for?
Police officers. We'd like to see the registration.
What are you doing to him? You got no right to hit him like that. We weren't doing anything. You got no right.
Come on, Holland. On your feet.
You got play a little rough, don't you?
We didn't call it. You did. All right, hands are back here. Stand still. How about it? He's clean.
You guys sure got a lot of nerve to come in here and beat him up like this.
Who tipped you? Who think out?
Hey, don't worry about it.
Somebody had to, but there wasn't anybody that knew. Nobody at all. How'd you find out?
All right, come on.
It's perfect. All the way around. Where'd I go sour? When'd I make the mistake?
When you started.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On January 14th, trial was held in Department 89, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial.
Now, here is our star, Jack Webb.
Thank you, George Fenneman. Next time you buy cigarettes, I wish you'd kind of keep us in mind and remember what we've told you about Chesterfield. First, with premium quality, highest quality, in both regular and king size. You smoke a couple of packs and you'll see what I mean. Chesterfields are milder with a wonderful taste. And you want to remember this. Chesterfield is America's best cigarette buy. See for yourself, won't you?
Ralph P. Holland was tried and convicted on 12 counts grand theft auto. His wife, Mildred R. Holland, was tried and convicted of 1 count grand theft auto. 7 other members of the gang were apprehended and brought to trial on the same charges. They all received sentences as prescribed by law. Grand theft auto is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 or more than 10 years. 4 suspects were apprehended and tried on charges of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony. They were convicted and received terms as prescribed by law. Violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 1 nor more than 6 years. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Stacey Harris, Virginia Gregg, Vic Perrin. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
For a million laughs, tune in Chesterfield's Martin and Lewis show Tuesday on this same NBC station. And sound off for Chesterfield. Either regular or king size, you'll find premium quality Chesterfield much milder. Chesterfield is best for you.
Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Now, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima tips of perfect cork. King size for natural filtering. Fatima quality for a much better flavor and aroma. So remember, new Fatima has the tip for your lips. Fatima. See how smooth they are.
Remember, Fatima is made by the makers of Chesterfield, Liggett & Myers, one of tobacco's most respected names.